Hello and welcome to the Katie Halper Show. I'm your host, surprisingly, Katie Halper.
And
And
I'm so sorry, Kay. I was going to introduce myself. I thought I was empowered to do that.
oh, of course you are.
Oh well,
I,
thank you
I, I
so
thought,
much.
I thought that you thought I was a white ally and you were mistaken, and I thought you were a male ally and I was mistaken. Of course you are.
Oh well, thank you
Oh,
so much.
what just happened?
Oh, we're getting some
I
echo.
was a white
for
ally
some.
and you were mistaken, and I thought you were a male ally and I was mistaken. Ah, 1 second. Sorry. What just happened?
Hey everyone. Well, I am.
Okay, I think my headphones came out. No. Oh my God, sorry. Let me mute myself.
Alright. Well, I am Leslie the Third. You can find me at sesh.plus, sesh.plus. I am the host of Struggle Session along with Jack Allison, who co-hosts the K Help Show on Sunday. So if you like either of us, please check us out. We have a brand new episode just came out today with Felix Biederman on Sesh.plus, and we talk about gaming, Sekiro, Hades, all sorts of cool stuff that's out. We also talk about the number one video game right now that everybody's playing, Twitter. So if you
Oh
want
yeah.
Felix's insights into everything that's going down, please check it out at Sesh.plus.
Awesome. And sorry about that. What I was doing is I was trying to silence myself and elevate and amplify Leslie, but I guess subconsciously I didn't want to. So I was speaking over him and over myself, though, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah. So, Leslie, how's your week going?
Um, Same as any week, I guess.
Yeah.
Same for as everybody. Who is anybody having a good week? Anybody in the chat having a good week?
I don't know. Well, here's what you know. What anyone? I'm just going to answer some questions because someone asked if Lady Bunny's coming, and yes, Lady Bunny is tonight. Tonight is Lady Bunny night, and also Virgil Texas night. And you never know who else will come into the chat because that's kind of how we do it. But yeah, Lady Bunny is great, and she's an amazing performer, and she also has a new podcast. We're going to talk about all that stuff, but um, I'm really excited about the show. Yeah. We have some clips if we want to watch them. You want to watch them? You want to talk anything about, like, say anything about any cancel stuff we should debate?
So you asked me. I didn't know. I didn't know which aspect of cancel culture you mean. Is that in the news right now? Is someone being canceled? I saw
Right.
Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, the Marvel fans tried to cancel him this week, and also, strangely enough, there was an anti-cancellation for Gina Carano this week. People have been trying to cancel her, but her fans, I think, and her fandom are just a little bit stronger, and she's fighting them back. They can't get her down for some reason.
Is this and Virgil Texas, for people asking, he is the co-host of Bad Faith and also of course was a correspondent for Chapo, one of the hosts for Chapo. But wait, is that person on on the show Mandalorian?
Yes, Gina Carano is on the Mandalorian.
Okay,
Yes.
I only know that because I don't want to give it away, but I'll give a little preview. Matt Taibbi and I, we, you know, we review shows that we haven't seen, and so we reviewed Mandalorian, and I talked about some stuff. You'll have to listen to Useful Idiots tomorrow when it comes out, but I really go there. I take a bold stand against something really problematic that I imagine happens in the show.
I
So,
look forward to that.
and in Googling that, I came across this woman who's, I guess she's being called transphobic.
Yeah. So what was happening was, so the thing to know about Gina Carano first and foremost, that she is like a conservative, but she's not like a loud political person. At least wasn't before quarantine. It was when quarantine started where she started getting a little bit more, posting a little bit more. Like she usually just posts normal actress stuff, like inspirational quotes. But then she started posting like, complaining about COVID, complaining about the lockdown. Eventually, she went full like, Trump supporter too. The transphobic thing started because it was actually strange because a bunch of her fans were asking her to put her pronouns in her bio, and she got was like, I don't want to do it. Like they just assumed that she was like woke because she was on the Disney show, and they were like, "Oh, Gina, put your pronouns in your bio, show your support for the LGBTQ community." And then and then she made like a joke where she put bleep bloop as her pronouns, and people got mad at her for that. So I think that's the main transphobic thing. But since then, she's just gotten. I mean, she's been under quarantine by herself,
Right.
and I could see this happening in real time, where her posts just start slipping further and further to the right, and it's just strange because she's such a prominent part of this Disney production. Everybody knows Disney is supposed to be super progressive and woke and all this
Right.
stuff, but she is just a straight up run of the mill kind of MAGA person politically. Like everybody, who interact with her says she's nice and friendly and fine. So it's kind of like what can you really do just because the person like is a Republican conservative,
Right.
and post like is kind of a like you can't like, and that's I think why the cancellation kind of doesn't work, because
It's a quivering cancellation.
yeah.
You know who we're going to have to definitely get to weigh in on this is Lady Bunny. I mean, she's perfect for this.
Yeah.
And because last time we decided the fate of Woody Guthrie, he's already dead, but we decided the cancellation fate. He's not canceled. We saved him from cancellation. And so this week's potential cancelee is Gina Carano. Is her
Gina
name?
Carano.
Carano, yeah. So you know what? Why don't we bring in our first guest, because she's great. She is a performer. She invented Wigstock. I was going to say Wigotopia. Wigstock. She was a dean of drag with RuPaul, and she is a Bernie bro through and through. So welcome, Lady Bunny.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How are you?
They call me Lady Bernie.
Lady Bernie? Oh, I like that. I like that, yeah. Actually, if Maria or Brad, one of you can find I'm a Bernie bro. We're for Bernie. It's like it's basically non-straight white dudes supporting Bernie. It's a video I made. I would like to play that at some point. And I'm sorry I didn't find it before. But Bunny, we don't really have a fourth wall on the show, contrary to what this very professional boundary that you may think I have. I just wanted to tell you that. So,
Okay.
we can make requests. If you'd like to share anything on your mind.
Well, I
feel
would like
free.
to say this before y'all boot me off, or before, my segment is up. I just want to say thank you, Katie, for being a beacon of progressive news. And you can't say it enough. I mean, you're somebody that actually went to the source to ask about Tara Reid. You're reporting on Sydney Ember, who was embedded in Bernie's campaign for the New York Times, and you found that they were having all kinds of like hedge fund people who were unnamed, or who were, I think one was married to Sydney. So most people do not look beyond the news, and thank you for your tireless.
Oh my gosh, this is so nice. Wow.
No, it's the truth, and
Thank
we're all sitting behind computer screens, but it's true. We need you.
Oh wow, thank you. That is so nice. And I have to have Tara Reid on, and I should have you and Tara on. That would be great. Really, yeah. And you, Leslie.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And Lady Bunny, I did want to bring up that she meant Katie didn't give you one of your titles, which was bestowed upon you by the New York Times as the shadiest queen around. And
Right.
from what I know, you were just absolutely lovely. I have no idea what they were talking about.
Could it happen to be that I mentioned in that article that I supported Jill Stein? I mean, the reporter met with me without my wig, and hair, and actually said that my hair was gray. So that's fake. New York Times is fake news.
Fake news. Fake news.
I have
Fake
lovely
news.
hair underneath this wig. Now it's gray now because I haven't seen a hairdresser in 10 months.
Right.
But at the time, it was lush with highlights and all of it.
Yeah. What color is it?
Well, it used to be
Used to
kind
be.
of like a blonde highlight, ash blonde or something
Right.
like that.
And they said gray.
They said gray. New York Times is
the
fake
gray
news.
lady. The gray lady.
Okay.
What do you
And
expect?
this quarantine has turned me into bearded lady because nobody can see underneath those masks. So, we just sit up there with all kinds of gnarly white beard. I mean, just
Right.
awful.
Clogged pores. Yeah. to the I understand that. Yeah, this is actually I like that I have to be on camera because it kind of keeps me, I think, in line. Like it keeps me from totally letting go of whatever grooming routines, or other types of routines. And of course, I got the dogs, so that's good. But yeah, that is can I play you guys this video? It's very much in the spirit of this, and that is so nice, Bunny. Thank you so much for saying that. And I want to show you guys a video because this is a really, I know everyone's saying that they wish Lady Bunny was their neighbor. Okay, let's see. So I made this video sometime when Bernie was still running, and you're going to recognize some folks in it. Okay.
Bernie Sanders does have a certain problem with women. Bernie Sanders makes my skin crawl.
If you are still supporting Sanders, it's kind of showing your sexism.
It's really hard to imagine who the voter is beyond the Bernie bro.
Pretty white, pretty male.
He appeals to younger voters, but not women of color, people of color in general.
You're wrong.
I'm 70 years old, and I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter.
I'm a feminist, a mom, a teacher.
I'm an Arab immigrant.
I'm indigenous.
I'm a gay man.
And I'm a mom of two.
I'm a black woman.
Wow.
Soy Latina.
I'm an immigrant.
57-year-old showgirl.
Hey.
I support Bernie Sanders for my patients.
Why should black women choose an older white male when they can choose a woman or even a woman of color?
Which candidates have impressed you the most tonight?
So far, Bernie Sanders. I would have to agree, Bernie Sanders.
I don't see how Bernie Sanders transforms into a messenger black and brown people will respond to.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders.
I love the man.
I see him as a not pro-woman candidate.
Being pro-woman means encompassing a holistic view of equality.
He's uniting people across demographic lines for the things that will benefit all of us.
Universal health care.
Universal child care, affordable housing, free education,
the Green New Deal. That was my partner just now. I didn't know they were in.
Where?
For the most vulnerable.
He has stood with the LGBTQ community since the 70s.
Including times when it was not popular to do so.
He's the only candidate to have the backbone.
His agenda is a part of the black agenda.
Specifically because he makes the skin of millionaires and billionaires crawl.
He says the same thing every time.
Which apparently some pundits find boring, but I like a man with a moral compass.
He's consistent.
He's consistently been about the same policies for over 50 years.
He's real.
He's not afraid to name his opponent.
And you can believe him.
There's no big donors to answer to.
So who will he represent when he's in office?
Black, brown, white, poor. He knows that humanity itself is worth saving.
And we can trust him to guide us out of the morass that we're in.
That's why I'm for Bernie.
I support Bernie Sanders.
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 I support Bernie Sanders. I'm
Hey,
with Cardi B on this one.
Like Bernie Sanders.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I support Bernie Sanders because now is not the time for thinking small.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was so
Gave
nice.
me the chills. It does. I'm sorry. I'm such a Bernie stan. Everyone knows this who watches this show. Wait, so Kelly was in this?
Bernie Sanders does.
Where
yeah.
are they?
It was my part. Yeah, I think a little bit. They had a vertical video, maybe somewhere
before
around
here, maybe. And by the way, just to give everyone a tour, this is, you may recognize her. Ready? Here it is.
Oh.
This is Kate Levin, who we had on the other night. Wait, where is she? She's the second Bernie bro who presents themselves. Okay, this is Kate Levin's mother-in-law.
I'm 70
Okay.
years old.
That's Susie. She's been on the show also. Susie, I was going to call her Susie Essman, but that's the actress from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Susie, has a very good show on Pacifica called Beneath the Surface.
Oh, and I'm a Bernie Sanders supporter.
Okay, so that's her. That's Kate. Viewers may remember her from the other day because Bunny and Leslie, Kate and I read the horrible, triggering piece about Bernie Sanders' mittens of subtle white supremacy. So we did a breakdown of that because Kate teaches writing. And let me see who else. And then Kelly's coming up soon. Okay,
Feminist, a mom, a teacher.
Kelly,
I'm an Arab
Leslie's
immigrant.
partner.
I'm indigenous.
I'm a gay man.
And I'm a mom of
Susan
two.
Kong, she's
I'm
been
a
on the
black
show.
woman.
Victoria, of
Soy
course.
Latina.
I'm an immigrant.
57-year-old
Lady
showgirl.
Bunny.
I support Bernie Sanders for my patients.
Why
think it's in the
should black
next round.
women choose an older white male when they can choose a woman or even a woman of color?
Which candidates have impressed you the most tonight?
So far, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, this can be heartbreaking
I
to
don't
watch,
see
chat.
how Bernie
I feel
Sanders
you.
transforms
I feel
into
ya.
a messenger.
But it's
Black
nice,
and brown
too.
people respond to.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. I love the man. I see him as a not pro-woman
Being
candidate.
pro-woman means encompassing a holistic view of equality.
He's uniting people across demographic lines for the things that will benefit all of us.
Universal health
There, that was Kelly. That was
Free
Kelly.
education.
The Green New Deal.
I think did Kelly have more orange hair at some point?
Most vulnerable.
Stood with the LGBT
No, I don't think not orange.
Like-
Orange.
Yeah, but not as blonde as that hair color.
Not as blonde, yeah.
Yes. All right.
The black agenda.
Specifically because he makes the
Hey,
skin
there's
of
me.
millionaires and billionaires crawl.
He says the same thing every time.
Man, had the really big
Some
beard.
pundits find boring, but I like a man with a moral compass.
He's consistently been about the same policies for over 50 years.
He's not afraid to name his opponent.
Less than a minute left.
Big donors to answer to.
So who will he represent when he's in office?
Black, brown, white, poor. He knows that humanity itself is worth saving.
And we can trust him to guide us out of the morass that we're in.
That's why I'm for Bernie.
I support Bernie Sanders.
I support Bernie Sanders.
I support Bernie Sanders.
I support Bernie Sanders.
I support Bernie Sanders. I support Bernie Sanders.
I'm with Cardi B on this one.
Like Bernie Sanders.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I support Bernie Sanders because now is not the time for thinking small.
So yeah, thank you both for appearing in that, and thank you, Kelly, also.
Yeah, thank you for making that. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
And that Debbie Saslaw also worked on that with me, so I want shout out to Debbie. So yeah, I guess we can just start with. I mean, can you talk about what it's like to be to be in the scene that you're in, Lady Bunny, and also be a Bernie bro?
Oh, sure. I mean, the interesting thing to me is that, coming up at clubs like the Pyramid Club, rock clubs, downtown gritty New York in the 80s, 90s or whatever. So, the people that I came up with were on the cutting edge of gender, fashion, art, music, you name it. And now they're just like stick in the mud boomers, centrists, and I don't know what happens to people. It didn't happen to me. Do they own property or did they benefit from this system? Because they sure do want to hang on to it. And I mean, what better example? The lady in the video towards the end said, he's not afraid to think big. So we're now getting the Robert Reichs to the Crystal Balls, to the Cornel West, to the Jimmy Dore, all saying that if Biden does not rise to meet this occasion and act boldly, then we are in danger of getting the next Trump, who may not be riddled with scandals, who may not be a pathological liar with a ridiculous. So this idea is out there. So when anyone tries to tell me you're running down Joe Biden, you don't care about the LGBT or the gains made for the trans community, I'm like, what? First of all, Joe Biden got through speaking today at the family's prayer breakfast, and I don't know how much y'all know, LGBT history, but so they are the right wing think tank, very religious and secretive. I mean, how gross.
Yeah, they're
is
like
that?
a cult. They're like a powerful cult in DC.
Exactly. And today, Joe Biden dignified those, assholes by, speaking virtually. I mean, at least he didn't actually break bread with them at their prayer breakfast. Have you ever heard? And he said that the answer to all of the turbulence and, I don't remember his exact word, was his faith. So see, I come from the gay community that was laying down outside of St. Paul's Cathedral with ACT UP when the Pope or the Bishop here said that condoms don't transmit stop the transmission of AIDS. Of course they do, or I would not be here. So it's so, I mean, I'm not religious, so I like separation of church and state, and I'd rather see, the president not sworn in on any religious, book at all. But, you pick your battles. But Obama, by contrast, because this was closer to the kill the gays bill in Uganda that the family helped create with Ugandan legislators, he at least went there and told them off. I don't know if Biden told them off, but to go there and say, this is about your faith. And then and so I tweeted GLAAD and HRC, which are our biggest advocate groups, said, I'm waiting for your statement on this. Well, of course, there won't be anyone, because I looked on there and they just gotten through tweeting success to Pete Buttigieg. And so I just don't come from that kind of gay that's like, yay, he's gay, but he's dishonest and he's, against Medicare for all. Don't the LGBT community want health care? I think they especially do. So I don't know, what that is all about, but I noticed that Michelangelo Signorilli, who will, call these things out sometimes, he did retweet a thread of how rotten the family was. But no, you don't have, when does this reaching across the aisle stuff stop? People would lose their minds if he went for a prayer breakfast with Mike Pence, although I bet Mike Pence virtually tuned in. If he went with, did one with Mike Pence conversion therapy, you think so. This attempt to reach across the aisle at all points is garbage. You've just finished saying that the Republicans are so loathsome, they're a new brand of loathsome, then you get into office and you want to fucking bow down to them. Because what is the difference between a Democrat and a Republican right now is what I want to know. I don't mean to usurp the conversation.
We want to know that too.
Please.
So why do the Republicans want no stimulus and the Democrats want less stimulus, and the progressives are saying $2,000 per month, which might be on par with other European countries? So that's just showing me that the Republicans are right next to corporate Democrats, centrists, call them whatever you want, incrementalist or whatever, like Joe Biden, like Pete Buttigieg, like most of them. So it's like, are people not even going to look out for themselves, their own pocketbook? I used to make fun of Republicans for, always voting for tax breaks for the wealthiest, which all Republicans seem to want.
Right.
So now we're voting for I used to say, even if you're a foreman at your factory and you're promoted, you're never going to be the 1%. So I don't know, what is the phrase, temporarily embarrassed millionaires?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I've never heard that. I like that.
Yeah, that Americans think that they are, because they, but so
Right.
what do we got now? We've got someone who's going to pay lip service to gay rights, pay lip service to climate crisis, and then, act like a Republican when he gets into office. I don't see it. I don't see it. It's a new low, and they're all on me like, Bunny, you're being divisive. I said, why would I not want to be divisive with Pete Buttigieg that tweets pictures of himself at the Salvation Army, notorious homophobes? He even, gave Chick-fil-A, notorious homophobes, a pass. And this is what I don't get about the gay community nowadays. I watched a debate on Logo with Hillary, Obama, and Dennis Kucinich, who I supported because he was like, get out of the wars.
Right.
Do you know that man looked into the camera and said, I support gay marriage, so please support me. Did any gay people support him? Of course not. Of course not.
You're
So
talking about
what's wrong
Kucinich?
with the? Yeah, they didn't support him. So at any rate, the ones that don't like the war and that want to give you bigger stimulus checks, they're the ones that are going to have been supporting your rights for years. They didn't wait until it's politically expedient. And I'll shut up now.
No, yeah, and there's
Thank you.
no.
Obviously, I've been in my tiny apartment about to explode.
No,
Can we get a go off bunny going in the chat?
Yeah, go off bunny. Someone should make a go off bunny emoji. But yeah, it's interesting that there's I saw you actually interviewing Larry Kramer from ACT UP, and I always think about how he endorsed Hillary Clinton, and he even remember when Hillary Clinton, I don't know what this was honestly, but when she said that Nancy Reagan like was a low key advocate for AIDS victims.
Yes.
I can't remember how she phrased it, but the
Oh,
low key
yeah.
was in that. Yeah. And it's
Did speak. Larry did speak out against that
He did speak
on
out.
social media.
He did,
So-
yeah. I remember that. That was like the one thing that he said. But I think he didn't. I believe he stayed supporting her. But
Right.
like, yeah.
You know, for the older LGBT community, for them, they're not in a mindset where they're thinking, is this person, you know, good? They're just thinking, oh my God, I didn't think a gay person could ever be there. And don't get me wrong, the inclusion is important, but not when it is used as a decoy to put someone forward who doesn't think the Chick-fil-A thing is a big deal, or who doesn't think, you know, that the Salvation Army is homophobic. I mean, it's just that middle of the road politician crap, and you know, who needs it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's when it's like super dark. It's not even because they're kind of two levels, but sometimes it's just so obvious. Like one thing is economic justice, which obviously is a racial justice issue and a gender justice issue. But sometimes it's just like super apparent. Like I'm trying to think of an example, but you know, with Kamala Harris, like locking up Black and brown people, like it's not even indirect. Like you don't even have to put it together. It's just like there in your face. Or
but you see, that's one thing that, you know, I hope I can bring to this conversation. You're like, bitch, you hadn't shut up the whole time you were on here. But so I deal with Facebook and the boomers and the centrists and their attitudes all the time. And, you know, I saw a critique of Force the Vote, which I support, and supported, and nobody forced it. And so, you know, the critique was, oh, we're the micro left. So you know what? They're actually right. We're the only ones talking about this in detail and saying Sam Cedar said, you know, We're the other ones don't even know what Medicare for All is, and they only view it through a prism of what they heard on the news, framing it like, oh, you have to get rid of your private insurance. I mean, we're in a pandemic. You don't want, you know, cheaper health care. I mean, what is up?
Yeah. Well, we're going to bring in another guest to talk about all this
I'm
stuff.
not finished.
Oh yeah. We'll give
That's
you
violence.
That's violence. I know. It is violence. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not an ally. So we found out Leslie's not a male ally. I'm not a white ally, and I'm also not a cis ally. So I'm gonna have to, by the end of the show, you guys are gonna tell me what I have to do to get back in the good graces.
Well, can we still fuck? I mean, can we all still fuck? Regardless?
I can't. That's you know, that I need affirmative consent. So I'm not sure, honestly.
Here it is.
There it is. So speaking of elevating, I don't know. I was trying to make a segue, but this one's kind of an awkward one. So we're just going to bring in our next guest, who we're really excited to have. His first time actually on the Katie Halper show. He's like contributed audio to it, but first time live. And we are speaking to Virgil Texas.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Virgil. How are you?
You're always my ally.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm doing well, Lady Bunny. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, Virgil.
And Virgil, of course, is the co-host with big friend of the show, Brianna Joy Gray, co-host of Bad Faith.
Bad Faith podcast, an amazing podcast, really causing all sorts of trouble.
The best. Love it.
Good trouble.
It's our little toddler. Just always causing trouble.
Yeah, a little terror, like a little tantrum. I mean, I don't mean like that made it seem like I was saying you guys were throwing tantrums. I don't mean that. I mean it's the causing trouble in a good way.
We're trouble. We're good trouble.
Yeah, you're trouble. Right here in River City, right, Lady Bunny? What is that? The Music Man?
It's Music Man.
Did I just put you? I just stereotype you as being musical aware.
Oh no, not me.
Oh no, okay.
No,
that is the Music Man, and yes, the Music Man took place in River City.
There it is, right? Yeah, 76 trombones.
That I know.
Okay, that's from it too, right? I by the way, watched musicals when I was a kid. I did not like cartoons. I did not believe them. I thought they were patronizing.
Where'd you access musicals?
My parents would tape them, and I would watch Brigadoon, Kiss Me Kate.
What, like they went in the theater and they
like on television, and they would tape them. No, like tape them on. So I'm older than you, Virgil, so you probably didn't.
VHS.
VHS, yeah. A VHS that you would play on the on the
It was
TV.
like a little black tape, and you press a button and it can record
I see.
television.
Yeah.
Are you older than me, Katie?
Yes.
Oh, you guys,
Pretty
that's,
sure.
well, that's amazing. You don't look a day older. You don't look a day over me.
Yeah. I don't. I look a day behind you or something. Yeah. Anyway, that I love musicals. Kiss Me Kate was my favorite. I was such a feminist. My parents made me stop, and then I'll actually interview the guests, but let me just share one thing, because Lady Bunny inspired me to reclaim my time. But I loved Grease, and I loved Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which is super problematic, because there's literally a song called Sobbin' Women, and it's about, I don't know, what is it, a Roman tale of basically kidnapping women and raping
rape
them?
of the Sabine women.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Roman tale, as I like to call it. So I would watch that, and I remember I would say to my babysitter and my parents, I was like, that's prejudice against women. I was like 5. And I remember my babysitter was like, yeah, it is sexist. And I was like, oh, that's a good word. I'm going to use that. And then my parents made me stop watching Grease because I asked what a rubber was. Because Rizzo, remember,
yes.
rubber broke. Anyway, yeah. And then Fairy Tale Theater was the thing I liked, which was like non-cartoon fairy tales with like Malcolm McDowell, Mary Steenburgen, Ellen Barkin. Yeah. Anyway, so, Virgil, actually, both of you are now podcast hosts, right? Bunny, you're a podcast host?
Yes.
All right.
It's called Ebony and Irony, and I co-host it with Monet Exchange, who is a winner of season 4 of All Stars, one of those drag race shows.
And when did you start that podcast?
Our third one airs tomorrow, and it's everywhere podcasts are. Last week we got to interview Jane County, who is the trans punk icon who has been around. I mean, they've just repealed this walking while trans thing. Yeah. So I thought it would be interesting to have her because she's been around since the 60s in Atlanta. She was at Stonewall. She remembers times when, if you were in drag or trans or whatever, wearing a ball gown, you had to put 4 items of men's clothing on underneath it. So you'd be wearing a ball gown with tube socks and Hanes underwear, or the police could pick you up. Also, if you let your hair grow to touch your ear, they could pick you up, which I was like, that must have been crazy because the Beatles were in.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know how that, I mean, that obviously they would enforce it if you were swishing, but she's seen many, many times and was a great guest.
Wow. How old is she? I mean, if that's public information.
I don't know. I would imagine 70-ish. She was a contemporary of David Bowie, and I was in Iggy Pop, all of that. So fascinating character.
Wow. I'm going to listen to it. I got to subscribe. Definitely going to subscribe. And how did you start the podcast?
Well, you can't reach them on stage. You reach them in their ears, I guess. You know? We would all love audiences and dance floors again, right?
And Virgil, you started this. When did you come up with the idea to do the Bad Faith podcast?
Why do you presume it's my idea? You
and Bree. There's no plural. If we were speaking in Spanish, I would have said vosotros.
Yo.
Okay. Yeah. That emerged over the summer, over the pandemic summer, and
pandemic summer sounds like a romance. Yeah.
We wanted to do a project together, and at some point we got our shit together and just did it.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah. Were you nervous about because had you ever appeared on a podcast together or done any media appearances together?
I had done one media appearance with her. I interviewed her once on Chapo.
Oh right, okay. And were the creative sparks flying then?
You tell me. You can find the show at badfaithpodcast.com or
no. We're the creative.
Podcast, and you can tell as well as I could if the sparks are flying.
No, I meant at the original during the original Chapo interview. That's what I meant.
Oh, you can listen to that too. Go to chapotraphouse.com and go back to that episode. No, the sparks are flying. Bree's great. She's a real pro.
Some people may know that I like Bree because I think you, Leslie, and Bree, and who else? Probably, Jack, obviously, Rania, Max Blumenthal. They're like my regulars. I call them my cancelables.
If somebody else gets if somebody on a guest you've booked gets canceled, you can bring us in to be the replacement.
Yeah. Or no, you guys can get canceled, I'm saying.
Oh.
That's what I meant. I mean, you guys can get me canceled. That's high praise. That's high praise.
Oh,
That's
okay. I
Yeah.
was just making sure. Like,
Yeah.
geez. Like
No,
we're
no,
just
no.
pawns in the K Helper Media Empire.
Yeah, I'm high. I'm using you as a human pawn. And so, okay, what else is happening? What are you guys thinking about? Talking about? What's the most exciting thing about Biden? The most depressing thing about Biden? Did you guys have any hope that he would be somewhat movable? How would you describe him now that he's in power? Better than you thought? Worse than you thought?
I think he was about what I thought. Disappointing. Not the right guy for the moment. I mean, to see so many friends like pushing back on this. He meant 600 plus 1,400. He was like, do you not care about yourselves? I mean, that is your money, but it's never framed that way in the media. These are your tax dollars. And you know what? The thing I can't understand is this like a branding thing to where people that don't think critically, they just think, well, I'm in this box and therefore, because one thing I thought was bizarre was that, the Bernie supporters, the ones that wanted more affordable health care and college, they were somehow, toxic. Now, maybe they could be toxic, online and stuff. And, I mean, what an opportunity, because there's not many politicians who stuck with the same platform all those years. I mean, I sincerely doubt that he would, run again, but,
Bernie
anyway.
2024.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be his running mate.
I do like to talk to all kinds of people, and a Republican friend said, a year ago, who are you supporting this time? I said, Bernie. He said, really? After the heart attack? And I was like, so I have been thinking in my mind, oh, but his policies will benefit everyone. Oh, but you know what? That is how people look at politics, and who are not, super engaged and going into the thickets, they think, that old man, he's already old. He had a heart attack. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like Trump getting COVID is probably what cost him the election, aside from also making a mistake of not sending out $2,000 checks when you had a chance.
Right.
Yeah. No, keep going, lady.
Well, I think, I mean, so Trump sent out 1,200 and 1,600. That's 1,800. And now Biden wants 1,400. I mean, this is really scary because Ted Cruz is tweeting that the GOP is now the party of blue collar workers. And if you were counting on that money and you're not some, wine mom thinking that, oh, we got a black woman, as VP, it's like, if you, like I say, if you don't care.
Money is real. Money is real. People need that money. And people heard them promise $2K if we win. $2K the first week. $2K out the door if Warnock and Ossoff wins.
Yeah, we got to do our next round of that video. It didn't work, Leslie. Last week we tried to do a live tweet where it's Joe Biden, give me my money. But I didn't send out the video early enough on Friday.
But you see, I fear the populist right because I'm not really in league with the right. And who was pushing for 1,200 a few months ago? Bernie and Josh Hawley, an independent and a Republican.
Right.
What message does that send?
I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
And Virgil, you look like you were about to get in there earlier.
Oh, yeah. Well, I wanted to address the question if that's still on the table.
Of course. Look, everything's on the table, including 1,400. Can't guarantee 2,000. Cuts are on the table, yeah.
I would say that so far, we're about 2 weeks in. So far, Biden's about what I expected. Keeping in mind, he did not run as a left-wing guy. His explicit pitch is, I'm a centrist in the Democratic Party and, bipartisan and all of that shit. We've seen some positive executive orders, but quite a lot of ones that are absent. For instance, cancellation of student loan debt, which is something that even Chuck Schumer is apparently publicly pushing for. But generally, we know what the priorities of the Democratic leadership in Congress is. So this current situation that we find ourselves in, where they're negotiating with themselves over the size of the size of the $1,400 checks, over who gets those checks. And now what's on the table is whether or not there will even be a $15 minimum wage, which was a banner, Joe Biden promise, is one that we can all be happy about. That's the situation we expected to be in, right? I mean, we expected that it would be Joe Manchin saying, now we got to worry about the deficit.
Right, and this is why litmus tests and purity tests are important, so that you don't end up with Joe Manchin's and Kristen Sinema's derailing, your meager offering. I mean, and short circuiting your majority. Do you know Kristen doesn't even have the fact that she's a Democrat on her website? I mean, this is like, so all this talk about purity tests. Well, maybe you should have some.
Yeah, well, Brianna Joy Gray wrote that piece in defense of litmus tests and got, of course, attacked for it. But
I didn't read that. I came up with that on my own.
Oh no, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you and Bree are like-minded, so that would make sense.
Don't try to pit me against a black woman here on this
No,
show.
you're allies. It's not divide and conquer. You guys came up with it together. No, yeah. She talked all about that. And of course, that was the big, Chomsky debate that you guys had.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wouldn't really call it a debate. I mean, it was something of a blowout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Being up old man is what people were saying online.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I'm not ageist in who I just desecrate.
Yeah, you don't want to infantilize him, right? I had him on a little bit after you guys did, and it was actually like really funny because his dog was barking in the background and it wasn't really acknowledged. And it was like really hard for me. I was almost laughing the entire time. Yeah, I mean, I think that what do you think, Leslie? You had such high hopes for
I mean, I didn't really have any expectations about what the Biden administration would be, but I can certainly say what's happening now is pretty shockingly bad, like negotiating themselves out of the unique opportunity where they could just buy votes now. They could just send money out the door and no one can complain. They have a perfect justification for it, and they're trying to make it as small, as minimal as possible. It's like I got the feeling that they don't want to win. They don't want to be in power. They don't like people expecting things of them, and it's just so shockingly bizarre to me, especially when they at the same time when they're also trying to talk about like the Capitol protest and like, oh, we're worried, we're afraid about this extremism and radicalism. Keep treating COVID the way you're treating it, and you're going to see a bit more extremism and radicalism and a hell of a lot more people wanting to run up on you in your offices. Like, if I cared about preserving my own safety, I would just be handing out money to people and saying, stay home, you don't have to get sick. Like there's so much shit like going on. I do want to say, like, I did expect them to make bigger moves on COVID. I expected them to come out and say, hey, we're not opening schools, even though he did say, oh, we want to open them within 100 days. I thought they would have some kind of plan, but instead it's like every single school board is like having fights. I'm in the allegedly blue county of Loudoun, which has very high per capita income, and the school board meetings are just these parents screaming about the teachers unions, which don't exist, which actually do not exist in this state, and saying that they need to have little Braden and Caden to come into school and spread COVID to everyone because of reasons, and it's the most important thing in the world. And that I put the Biden administration directly responsible for that. There's the one the whole complaint about Trump is he didn't have a plan. What is the plan? Is everybody on the same program nationally? We can see the vaccine distribution stuff is still a mess. Like, what have they done? What have they changed? What the fuck did they get together? Like, how do you feel any different than like when Trump was in office? I just don't. It's when about the big things, about COVID, about the COVID relief, about the stimulus. Like, it doesn't seem any fucking different to me.
Yeah, I remember getting really like. I mean, this is a good super chat. I mean, good chat. Braden Cade in 2024. I remember like as much as I disdain Biden and really hate it. I remember getting like, and this was kind of naive, I think, but I remember seeing Simone Sanders, and actually we've talked about this before, I think, Leslie, but you know, Bree. Sorry to keep talking about Bree.
I love hearing about Bree.
You're like the Yoko Ono. I'm just kidding. Bree mentioned she tweeted out a clip of Simone Sanders, no relation to Bernie Sanders, obviously, who is Biden's communication person at the time.
Yeah.
And she actually said what the clip that Bree released showed her saying to Chris Cuomo, the CDC has said it's safe to vote, so it said it's safe for folks to vote. So I don't know what Senator Sanders is saying, because Sanders had told Anderson Cooper that maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep going with the primary. He didn't mean like indefinitely, but there was discussion of a pause because of a deadly pandemic, communicable disease. And
they were in a tough position.
They
going
were.
Into, I believe it was going into, it was either Michigan or it was those 4 states. I believe
Ohio,
it was,
Florida.
Ohio, Florida, Arizona, and another one. And that was, those were important contests. It was a big contest, and that's where, he had to kind of stop Biden's momentum. And that was the last debate they had was right before that. Oh my God, and this is when the pandemic was breaking. When it was happening, it was all this uncertainty. And that's when, that's exactly when you're talking about, when Simone Sanders just went on TV and said, no, go vote. And Bernie's people did not really know what to do there, because they wanted their people to go out to vote if there had to be a contest, but they also didn't want to kill them. So it just killed their GOTV efforts.
Yeah. I mean,
and Biden's people did not, agree. They didn't get together and shake hands and say, you know what, you're right. Let's put the whole thing on ice.
That's what they should have done. They should have. I mean, in retrospect, there should have been some major medical professionals' letter signed. Honestly, they should have just all gotten together and said, we need to pause this, because, And when I wrote a piece about this for Fair magazine, Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, and which is where I wrote the Sydney Ember piece, by the way. And I was really cautious because I wanted to make sure, because the facts were always changing, and I wanted to make sure that at the time, okay, Faz said to go out, though. We'll get to that in a second, because trust me, I paid deep attention to that. So I wanted to make sure that Simone Sanders hadn't said that when, maybe the CDC had said that an hour before she said it. Maybe she didn't know. But then I found the original broadcast, and Chris Cuomo's the premise of his question to her was, CDC has said that you can't have gatherings of more than 50 people, which makes virtually every polling place, impossible to do. And so, she 100% knew about that, because everything was so in flux. I thought maybe she didn't know at the time, but she did, and it was in the question. And so it was that is just so sordid. It's not just that she said go out and vote, but she lied about what the CDC had said. The CDC had very clearly not said it's safe to vote.
And one state shut down, and then was it Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio. Yeah, it was a Republican.
But the other 4 did not shut down. So, I mean, look, we've been getting mixed messages about everything from masks to vaccines. I mean, I wish there could just be less information, because they are laying the groundwork for conspiracy theories. I mean, there's apparently the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is 60% effective. And I'm like, so I have to wait for months to get one that's 60% when the other ones are 95%? I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah, and I was so naive, because I really did think, I was like, this is not something, Biden, as craven and venal as he is, this is something like a Trump would do, or maybe some other Democrat, but this is just human decency. No one's going to send people out to get killed. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. And I did also think that, there'd be a better plan from Biden than from Trump. That was always kind of the thing in my mind, where I was like, well, all right, I guess this is one of the reasons that he really will have less blood on his hands. But who knows? That's no longer a guarantee. And it certainly is not acceptable when you're supposed to be the opposition party, the party that doesn't kill people or let people die. But look at Cuomo and Newsom. It's so disgusting. And
what did Newsom do?
Oh, I don't know. He's just he's really bad.
He's reopening.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well-
Jack Allison was on, he's my Sunday night co-host, and he, what did he do? He said that the science behind saying that it's safe to go back to school is based, the CDC study, that's based on people shutting everything else down. So that's based on like what would happen if businesses were shut down, not based on everyone else going back. So yeah, it's disgusting. And
well, he also got caught just recently for underreporting by half the number of nursing home deaths, and he cut $2.5 billion from New York State's Medicaid insurance for poor people during the pandemic. And this is the fool who. I mean, Marie Claire and Jezebel both wrote articles saying, I'm falling in love with, Cuomo. Now, Chris, I can see it.
yeah,
Andrew,
I know. At least
never.
Chris has the face for it. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is, we got to stop buying what we're sold. And, look at how the media used our trauma after 9/11 to sell us Giuliani as America's mayor. This is ignorant. This is ignorant. If they're trying to sell you something, look at their actions. Don't look at what you're being sold. I mean, this is crazy. You're fantasizing about it. He gets an Emmy for the soothing tones of his voice. I mean, this is literally
It was good
joke.
acting. It was good acting, though. He did deserve
I didn't
it
think
for
it was.
acting.
I tuned in one day, and he was saying, 200,000 deaths. Who's counting? I am, and I was like, oh my God, this is just sickening. And so I was stuck here, unable to work, unable to go out of town or whatever, and I was tuning into the news every day when the Facebook things popped up, and it was announcements from de Blasio or from Cuomo. And there was so much propaganda in them that I just wanted to know what's up with the trains, what's up with the airports, what's up with the schools, what stores are open. And you had to wade through 45 minutes of this is COVID is a war, Trump is the commander in chief. Well, I agree. He did it. He lost the war.
Right.
I agree that he mishandled it, but I don't. Just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
An Emmy. So anyone that says anything that's different from Trump
Exactly.
is good automatically. This reminds me of Democrats oohing and eyeing over Michael Avenatti, who was representing Stormy Daniels. I just saw this guy on steroids with a big vein popping out of his neck, like, going hog wild, and everyone else was like, oh no, he's going to put Trump away. I'm like, oh my God. Now he's awaiting sentencing for extorting Nike, and they were saying how hot he was, and they wanted to be, I understand. You can't be so traumatized by Trump that you run blindly into the arms of someone who ain't no damn good either.
Right.
In the case of Biden and Cuomo.
Yeah. Well, look who's at MSNBC. It's like an entire rehab team from the Bush administration. Like,
but you see, so many people don't watch. They're not news junkies like us. What is it, like 18% even bother to tune in? So it's like they, if they're just looking at the news, like, in the other room, it's playing while they cook dinner or whatever, all they hear is that, Trump's involved with Russia or, other things to like feed the hysteria. And it's like, they're still talking about Trump. And I mean, when they started saying that, look, honey, Giuliani shut down the clubs, in New York, if they didn't have a dancing license,
Right.
cabaret license. I'm not fond of Giuliani at all. But I don't sit on social media saying I wish he was dead. Now, I make rotten jokes and totally but when they're all saying that they hope that Trump dies, I was like, wow. I mean, this is kind of, are Democrats a hate group? Because that's all they want to do is go on about Trump. And so anything Biden
They should
does,
clearly prioritize Bush being killed. That's the problem. Yeah. They just have their priorities. They don't have their priorities straight.
well, what are their priorities? Going back to war? Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Raka Ray says, did y'all hear about San Francisco suing its own high school district to reopen? I did not hear about that. Who's suing whom?
I'd like to hear about the San Francisco Chronicle suing that writer for who did
The white,
Bernie.
subtle white
Yeah,
privilege. Yeah.
because of his
seriously.
outfit, he's the white supremacist. And I mean, sadly, that's not the first time I saw it, because there were 4. You never know with screenshots of tweets if I didn't research these people to see if they were like that. But they were already saying Bernie's trying to steal the thunder from a black woman. I mean, this is nuts. This is absolutely nuts.
Imagine if he'd worn a fancy suit. What would they have said? He's not a socialist. Oh, I thought he was a socialist.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but I guess they're just branded against the guy who wanted affordable health care.
Yeah.
So they just think, oh, toxic, oh, far left. I mean, stupid.
I'm also trying to start. I need your help, guys. We have a couple campaigns. We have the Joe Biden, give me my money. Then we have people, we're urging them to do, if Biden tweeted like Trump, I'll retweet that during the show. We did that on Sunday. We started that tradition. And then also, I really want to cause a controversy because what's her first name? Gorman? Is it Amanda Gorman, the poet?
Yeah.
She, and this is not a dig at her at all, but she's not the poet laureate. Joy Harjoy is, who is a Native American woman. And that is not acceptable because they did not acknowledge her. They erased her. So Biden team, you're on notice. You're supposed to be good
the
at
wrong
this stuff.
poet laureate.
Well, she's like she's older, so she's not the poet laureate. They're like younger ones.
Oh, she's the junior poet laureate.
Yeah. And so they erased her. And the other thing is, like you were saying, Lady Bunny earlier on, he's at, what was he at? His faith. We should show some footage of this, but he was at his breakfast. Faith breakfast.
The prayer breakfast that given by the family every year.
The family, the super sketchy like cult, like you guys were talking about. We should watch that documentary. We should and do a report back. But the other day when when we watched this video, Leslie, this is our sake bomb of the week. We should find some more sake bombs. But an anti-choice publication asked Jen Psaki about Biden's position on the Hyde Amendment, and she was like, Biden is a devout Catholic. Why is that? Like, is that a Mike Pence line? Who is? Well, he's a WASP, right? He converted, right? Pence was born Catholic and then converted to WASP, I believe.
Well, didn't Jen also say that when asked about the Goldman Sachs fees from Janet Yellen, that she is a woman? So this identity politics is being used to as a decoy, and as a member of one of those communities, I gotta say,
Yeah. And Mayor Pete, again, no one has asked him about Tristan Moore. The fact that name is not familiar. Leslie, you were the person who told me about this. The 11-year-old.
The young black boy who was killed because Mayor Pete took down the traffic lights because he was making a smart street. And so the fact that he got to be Department of Transportation that's just throwing it in your face.
It's like if they
and
had
no
any
paper
shame,
mentioned it when they talked about it.
It's so disgusting. And again, it's like I would have just thought that for the optics, they would have been like, let's just give him an ambassadorship because he did get an 11-year-old boy who is black, by the way, killed, and so let's not raise that issue by putting him in the transportation department. But the media is like, I would love to be a fly on the wall. I don't know if it's a self-selecting thing. They just know it wouldn't get published if they actually reported on it, or if people are actually like, so we're not going to mention this kid or the fact that he was killed.
Well, when you release the photo of his nomination and he's playing with trains, I mean, come on. I mean, didn't Domino's Pizza have to donate $5,000 because the potholes were so bad there, as reported in the South Bend Tribune? Right. Because I do watch Jimmy Dore, and he lit him up good. We've all seen the footage of him walking away from his win in Iowa, that he declared with 0% of the votes in. Which didn't they use that trick with California and Hillary in 20? Yeah, I mean, this is just it's and Democrats are going to go and take care of all the people who are spreading disinformation. What qualifies you, honey? What qualifies you?
That's so scary. Yeah, Virgil, were you saying something?
Yeah, Leslie, I had not heard that story actually, and I'm just curious, what is a smart street?
So I don't know what the detail is, but
I-
it's basically like it's basically just to keep the flow of traffic to go faster. So you it's just tech lord bullshit. It's no like actual technology. It's just like, oh, we're gonna put a fucking roundabout here and take down the light here, and this is just gonna. Our computers have told us this is gonna increase the flow of traffic and yada yada yada.
And I think the idea is that it's more pedestrian friendly, less traffic. That's the idea of it. I mean, I don't know, but again, like even if
I thought they warned him that they needed a traffic light there, and he didn't put it there, and then the young black man got killed. I thought that was how it went, but I don't want to spread information and get your YouTube.
Oh, I know YouTube's going to demonetize me. Well, I do know that when he was asked about it, he said that the kid darted into the street. I mean, he didn't even have the so I mean, but he's not wrong. Where's the lie? Because honestly, no one is covering this. No one talked about this. I couldn't believe it. I tried to make it a hashtag. His name, Tristan Moore. It's like it's so disgusting. It's really infuriating. But what are you gonna do? Yeah.
This Neera Tanden also is talking about, how she, her family relied on public assistance, and she's part of a think tank now that wants to cut, entitlements, stuff that we're entitled to because we paid into them our whole lives. And she is, yes, a brown woman, from India, I guess.
Her parents are from India.
You know what? That woman wants to kill people that look like her. So, stop acting like, I love what one black friend said, all skin folk ain't kin folk. Yeah. And I absolutely love that and feel that way about, Pete. I mean, listen, I never wanted to, the platitudes made people who were looking for policy absolutely rich.
And Katie, I actually have the article up if you want to add the screen.
Yeah,
it's actually worse than we were talking. It's actually kind of worse.
Okay,
it's actually kind of worse. So if it's on the screen right now, let me see if I can get this zoomed in for y'all. Scroll down. Okay, let me know if that looks good.
That looks great.
All right, great. And so following a consultant's 2015 study finding that vehicular and pedestrian traffic at the corner of South and Michigan streets didn't warrant a traffic light, the city placed a bag over the light on February 1st, 2016, as it did a handful of downtown intersections. So it wasn't even that they just put bags over the lights. They just put bags over the light. You've seen that ugly shit on the street before. That's how committed to it they were this idea. And an 11-year-old boy was struck, and Kay was right where the quote from Pete was, we simply don't know whether it would have made any difference yesterday morning as two children darted across the street at an angle, and one of them outside the crosswalk was struck and killed. He sounds like a cop justifying a shooting. Yeah. He sounds angry at the children. I don't know if it would have made any difference yesterday morning as two children darted across the street. So, yeah.
I've got a great idea. Let's make him transportation secretary.
I know. I thought you were going to say let's make him dart across the street, which I would love to do.
In Minecraft. Minecraft.
Right,
parody.
Minecraft, yeah. All of this is a parody. Yeah. And I have actually, I'm gonna share a tweet that I did about this just because it has some relevant info, and then actually Brad has drawn up some info about smart streets. But hold on, let me just see.
Oh, I think there was a super chat we missed. One was asking for better icons from YouTube to use, and then there was another one asking. I forgot what they were asking for. Please type it in the chat. I think we missed that super chat of yours.
Yeah. We can probably. Okay. So here's this is. I'm just going to show a thread that I did, not because it's my thread, but because it's unbelievable. So this was a piece that. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
All right. This is Ian Duncan, who is a member of the transportation team focused on the U.S. Department of Transportation. He's at the Washington Post, and as you can see, he's a reporter who covers federal transportation. And he covered Freddie Gray's death. Seems like a talented guy. This is the piece that he wrote in, I think, January. In South Bend, Pete Buttigieg challenged a decades-old assumption that streets are for cars above all else.
As a New Yorker, we hate that because we jaywalk, and we were here first on two legs, Pete.
Yeah. And this is from now I'm going forward to a GoFundMe that his, this is an article. Both the pedestrian and traffic signals were shut off as part of the two-way streets program so that the cross traffic no longer stops, leaving the boys on their own in crossing the street. A GoFundMe account has been set up to help pay for funeral expenses. And then this is his obituary. So that's Tristan Moore, who's 11 years old. That's his memorial page. No one has seen this person's face. Like, this is not a national story at all.
Yeah, and Kate, as you point out, like that was a puff piece about. They're writing puff pieces for Pete about his transportation history. Like, how do you not mention that or bring that up? Like that.
Exactly.
It's just bizarre to me. I get the only thing I say is what's her face. Liz Smith is a damn good publicist.
Good. Yeah,
she is like she knows what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's so, again, it's like, I know I'm being naive, but it is so disgusting because they didn't even feel the need to have a response. You know what I mean? They didn't even feel the need to have anyone, like, he should have done what he always does, Pete, which is make up black people, misquote them, attribute quotes that they didn't say, like he did with his Lincoln plan or whatever.
Or just walk away without saying anything, like he did after he won Iowa.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Or Lady Bunny. Every time you mention it, I think you're about to mention the time he walked away from like Black Lives Matter protesters because that happened too as well.
Yeah, and they
tell me about it because I didn't know about that one.
Oh,
yeah. This video of him just walking away.
Yeah. It's so great. Yeah, we got to play that because I don't think Matt Taibbi and I played that on Useful Idiots, and we did not. He did not think it was as funny as I did. So you know what? I'm tired of being silenced on this. But this is Tristan Moore, by the way. Look at him. This is his face. This is him. And no one has ever seen this. Like, this isn't this should be a hashtag, and this is the mother's writing about her son. It's just, and she was looking for funds to help bury her son. It's so disgusting. And that they don't even have the decency or the sense of fear of anything to even have their talking points in order. You know what I mean? Like, it was a tragedy and we feel terrible, but these things happen when we're trying to innovate or whatever bullshit that they would say. And Brad looked up the website, and it's it says smart street projects which incorporate new curbs, sidewalks, streetlights, and trees also enhance the overall quality of life by contributing to a more vibrant atmosphere and attracting, say it with me now, economic development.
Yeah. Well, as an LGBT person, I would rather be represented by the first historic LGBT person who was good at his job. That would lead to other opportunities and more inclusion. But I don't fully understand the scope of what the Transportation Secretary does. I mean, obviously, if you're a corporate Democrat, maybe you're not going to be as concerned about, cutting oil emissions, greenhouse emissions with bullet trains or, high-speed rail. So, I mean, that's Lord only knows. I mean, will he privatize things? I mean,
is it going to be transportation to everyone who wants it? Transportation for everyone who wants it. Yeah, exactly.
Toll streets. You have to pay to walk on them.
Yeah. But that's what you have to think of, right? I mean, it's like, what are we being sold under the guise of inclusion?
And actually, I think, Lady Bunny, I'm just going to humbly push back and suggest you need to look at your internalized homophobia, because anytime anyone criticizes Pete, it's actually homophobic.
That's true. So, but Trump.
Yeah, exactly. You're a homophobe, but Trump. Yeah. The Republic has been saved. Yeah.
Yeah, and Katie, I found the mysterious super chat. Well, first of all, Matthew
website.
Plays has one where he just gave us $14.99 just
Thank
because.
you.
Thank you very much. And then Billy Beans, he was actually trying to share with us his tale of losing his Garfield erotic fan fiction.
I hate when that
So
happens.
that's very sad story. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to laugh.
Sorry, I'm just pouring myself some more water. Yellowtail water. So we have that, and then what was the other thing? Do you want to see? I have a good video to show of. Do you guys want to see what Bloomberg said about children? Have you seen this clip?
Mm-mm.
Oh God, this is a good one. Hold on. I mean, I'm a huge as a New Yorker. You know, I love Bloomberg. Just as I loved Giuliani. I actually have my photo taken with Giuliani. I ran into him at the DNC, and I'm wearing an Obama for President hat.
Why was he at the DNC?
They were doing different events. He wasn't like in one of the official buildings, but you know.
Yeah.
He was like at an Amway party, actually. I think I'm serious. They put me in a van. They were like, "You want to go to this party?" And I went in, and we went to an Amway party, and he was there, and he gave a speech, and he's like, "Look, I'm from New York. Like, I know these people. Like, they're not good. Okay, they're like bad. They're bad people." So
I think a picture with Giuliani post Borat is like a picture with Epstein at this point.
Well, you mean
this
take
is very
post
rare.
Borat or
like now that you have that picture that associates
find it, yeah.
that's like being associated with Epstein now.
Right.
In the post Borat world. So
right.
That's very precious. Like there's 1 degree from Jelaine, basically.
Well, I don't want to brag, but I got to show you guys another photo. If you'll just give me 1 second.
Can I just, while you look for it?
Yeah, of course.
You know, I see clips of everything on Twitter, like we all do. And I remember the Republican National Convention, and here was Nikki Haley giving a speech, and she's very polished, and she is, even though our politics are not the same, she's very appealing. So she's giving a speech at the RNC, and she's saying that my parents were immigrants. My parents wore a turban. I was discriminated against because of the color of skin. My parents were able to get a small store. See, this is the fallacy of thinking that any woman of color, any gay, any whatever is perfect just because that's what they are and not who they are. And the right is going to get really crafty at stealing our language from us, as they have done with these conservative women who are now trying to claim that drag is woman face akin to blackface and as offensive to them. So, just if you're not old enough to see how things were done and you're all up in your language of inclusion, be careful that they're not using it to sell you something that is against the interests of what you are.
Yeah.
In 2020, when Republicans won seats in the House, every Democratic incumbent who went down for defeat that year was replaced by a Republican who was a woman or a person of color.
Say that again. I want to make sure
In 2020, every Democratic in the House, every Democratic incumbent who lost their seat to a Republican, was replaced by a Republican woman or person of color.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Yeah. And you have Marco Rubio saying this type of stuff, right? And you're right. And what you brought up, Lady Bunny, about Nikki Haley and Neera Tanden, it's like they talk about lived experience. It was so clearly a talking point put out by the Biden administration because everyone started saying it. Neera Tanden, Miu Hirono, MSNBC journalists.
Everybody's saying AOC AOC said they're actually right now maybe they're doing something on the floor where they're talking about their lived experience of the Capitol riot and
Well, what is she?
Just say your experience. It means the same thing. You ain't gonna have the experience unless you fucking live it.
Yeah, true. Walking Dead, zombie. The posthumous experience. Neera Tanden has the zombie experience. Yeah.
They say authentic so much that it's no longer authentic.
Yeah.
It's just awful.
Yeah, and what's so terrible is that Neera Tanden is what Neera Tanden is doing is actually like the opposite of qualifying. She's saying I was raised in part thanks to Section 8 housing, and I grew up and I became a powerful person, which is great, and I'm going to use my power to deprive other people of the very programs from which I benefited.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like there's nothing negative about that. I prefer universal programs, right?
But who is going to call her out on that in the media? The centrist Democrats who think like her and who, who the Republicans who also want to cut entitlements?
Right.
No one. So it is up to us to risk, rage by saying that this is that it's a trap.
Yeah.
Not always.
No, it is. Yeah, it's up to us, and it's up to Taco.
Oh yeah,
Leslie's dog.
Taco's
in the background
back.
I got to get Bodie in here.
Thank you, JT.
Yeah, that's JT says Lady Bunny knows her. Ish. Please bring her
some
back.
asterisks. I'm not sure what they meant to write there.
And also, you had some good comments too, Virgil. I have to get them, but people were thankful that you were here. A lot of people are talking shit about Vosh. I don't know that story, so I'll just
who that is.
Okay, so let me just see one thing. Oh, can we watch the Bloomberg thing?
Sure.
All right. Oh, I'm gonna ask you while I get it. Here's a question for you, Lady Bunny. Can you see it on the screen?
Yeah. How does Lady Bunny feel about the corporatization of drag? Well, I mean, I might feel differently if someone was knocking on my door offering me an endorsement deal. Right. But they're not, so let me read them all to Phil. No, I mean, yeah, it's I don't begrudge girls that can get, endorsement deals. I don't, but I did see a New Yorker piece where they referred to Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Race, who is, of course, is my old roommate from Atlanta, Georgia, and we moved up here together. Blah 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 blah. But they referred to Drag Race as capitalist drag, and I didn't know what that meant. But the funny thing is that these queens are forced to prepare for 14 episodes, even though, of course, they only one will not be eliminated up until the end. And they go broke with outdoing themselves with wigs on top of wigs and lace fronts. I mean, lace fronts, one lace front costs thousands of dollars. If you're wearing 4, you're fucking broke. And now the poor girls don't even get to run around and make money afterward because of COVID. So, I mean, it's a real, but yeah, I like drag that has a spark of ingenuity, and I'm not going to gravitate towards the drag, because it is polished. I like that too. And they're certainly so creative with the makeup and costuming. But if you look like $1 million and you walk onto the stage, I'm going to hoot and I'm going to holler. But what next?
Yeah.
What's next? That's not going to hold my attention for 5 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, I think, there were some sacrifices that Ru is well aware of because she came from an underground, scene herself. And Ru has tried to put kooky drag queens like Tammy Brown on there from the beginning. I don't know if she still does. So, listen, it's drag is huge. So I don't blame people that are able to cash in, with corporate endorsements, as long as they're not awful, corporate endorsements.
I think Brianna's in the chat, by the way.
Oh my Lord!
And she wants
seeing you here.
And she wants you to define lace front.
Lace front wig looks like a natural hairline because the lace, you put glue on your head and then you put the lace front on, so it's better than, it's more realistic than a what they call shake and go, cheap wig or Party City quality wig. I don't wear bangs, so I don't need to wear. You're never going to see my hairline. So it's something, but they're very obsessed about it, making videos about how you clean it and all of this stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I don't mind seeing someone in drugstore makeup. Just going out there and just letting them have it to a dance number. You don't need to have on $5,000 worth of wigs and attire for me. So,
yeah.
But drag, I think it's less connected to the performance now than to the look, which is not my favorite thing. But whatever, girl.
Yeah.
Katie, I did want to note the question was actually for Virgil.
I know.
It was asked Virgil to the fire
silence.
front.
Virgil was silence.
I mean, precisely. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wear bangs, so.
You do, yeah.
So that could be a lace front, is what you're saying.
It could be.
So guys, I gotta show you. Remember, I was bragging about the photos that I have with famous people. Now I don't know where my Giuliani is right now, but here's what I'm gonna give you. I just discovered this. Ready?
Okay.
I just found it. I knew it happened, and I wanted to pay my condolences earlier. But okay, ready? Can you everyone see that?
All right,
And
way to
so
go.
I take with me the memory to be my sunshine.
Okay, you're canceled, Katie. Again, you're canceled.
I mean, if Donald Trump, if anyone else besides oh God, the readout is trending. I don't even want to look. But if anyone else had done to Kane what Trump did, right? Because he had cancer, but did he die of COVID related stuff? He went to a Trump event, right?
It was COVID.
Yeah, he died of COVID.
So it was just straight up COVID. I
mean, just straight up COVID.
So here's the thing: if anyone else had done to him what Trump did to him, Trump would have been calling that person a murderer constantly. Do you know what I mean?
They killed my friend Herman. They killed my
all
friend
the time.
McKay.
He's a murderer. He's a murderer, is what
Those
he is.
Clintons.
Yeah, bunch of murderers.
I guarantee you, Tron does not know the difference between Herman Cain and Ben Carson.
Yeah.
He saw the news and thought, fuck, I got to get a new housing guy.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
I got to get a new doctor.
I mean, wow, by the way. Yeah, this is from 2016, this photo. Is from the RNC. By the way, all right, enough about Vaush. Can we stop talking about him? I'm going to start putting people in the timeout. Virgil Bang Relief when. But Ben Carson is really scary. Like, watching him, I got to find the footage another time. Watching him, talk about the look on the kids' faces when he operates on their brains. It's very weird.
Because he's scary. Because he seems like he's having a stroke whenever he talks.
Yeah,
he's
stroke,
just
but
this person needs
pleasure.
medical attention.
Yeah.
Ben Carson is such a funny thing because my mom gave me his book, as a lot of black mothers did to their young black kids. Like, oh, this is a wonderful book about, and it was like a YA biography about this guy who grew up in the projects, survived violence, and became like a world-class brain surgeon, and supposed to be like super inspirational. So his turn was especially like bad. It was like Bill Cosby and Ben Carson were like two like big things that are unfortunately did the reality was not what they projected.
Right. Also, he believes doesn't he believe the Earth is like 5 days old or something ridiculous?
Yeah, he's like he's like a brilliant neurosurgeon and also like extremely bizarre anti-science view. So you can do both. You can be like one like a world class, like the Einstein of brain surgery, and also like believe absolutely bizarre ideas about the nature of the world.
Well, you know what it is? Brain surgeons, it sounds like this really scary thing, right? But they're actually the dumb jocks of the medical profession. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad at what they do. It's not important what they do, but they're not. They're.
I mean,
how surgeons were that, but I thought brain surgeons were a little bit above that. No?
I mean, at the end of the day, when like what you're doing only has a low survivability rate anyway, like are you really seeing the best doctors there?
Mine was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No complaints.
What's it? How can you tell the difference between if an elevator's closing? How do you tell the difference between a surgeon and a psychiatrist?
How?
I don't know.
The psychiatrist puts his hand in the door. The surgeon puts his head in the door. In the closing doors. I didn't tell it that well.
Oh,
kind of awkward.
yeah,
I'll
that
tell
makes
you
sense.
another
That does
doctor
make
joke.
sense. That
I'll
makes-
tell you another doctor
Okay, it
joke.
just took a second.
I'll tell you
Okay.
So there's a doctor, and he reaches into his breast pocket to write a prescription. He reaches in his breast pocket to write a prescription, and he pulls out a rectal thermometer, and he goes, "Some asshole must have my pen." Thank you, Leslie.
So I don't know if, Ben became very right wing because he just like fell into like really nutty like evangelical stuff, or if it's just something about he because his story is really inspiring. He overcame like hardcore adversity to reach the point that he did,
Right.
And he's just one of the guys who like gets really grows up poor and gets very successful and just becomes a huge asshole and just says, well, I did it so anyone else could, like, fuck
Yeah.
you, I got mine, instead of maintaining the empathy for other people who are less advantaged.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It is like that. Those are the people who I think are the hardest to ever like have an argument with about this. Because talk about lived experience, being able to say, well, I survived, I got out of that, so why can't these other people? So here is, I like to show, I'm a big fan of Stephanie Ruhle, in case people don't know that. Huge fan of Stephanie and her work, both on Wall Street and with Chase Bank. She does Chase chats, going after Bernie Sanders with those pre-prepared graphics where she had him on when he was pushing for the stimulus. And she said, but Senator Sanders, you've sponsored however many hundreds of bills and only passed 7. And they had like the graphic because MSNBC was clearly sitting on that. Anyway, but in this clip, she's not the star. She's kind of the supporting actor, but it's a very good clip. And it's of our good friend, Mayor Bloomberg, who, by the way, has a fake New York accent because he's from Boston. And if you think he sounds funny and non-New Yorker, he is. You're right.
I did not know that. I did not
Yeah.
know that. I did not know he was a fake.
He's a fake.
Does he cheer for the Red Sox?
Probably. Let's see. Hold on. Oh my God. We got a good, actually a friend of the show just sent us a great text, but about Ben Carson's house. But here, let's look at this. Ready? I think we're all going to like this. So speaking of Democrats being absolutely atrocious on COVID, let's watch this great video.
President Biden wants to open schools, and he's already getting pushback. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that what we're doing to poor kids is a disgrace. These poor kids are not in school. They will never recover from this, and they had a bad education experience anyway. We have not had good schools for poor kids, and this now is just so much worse. The president has to stand up to the unions.
Teachers unions?
Teachers, yes, the teachers unions. The teachers say, well, I don't want to go back because it's dangerous. We have a lot of city and state and federal employees who run risks. That's part of the job. You run risks to help America, to help your state, to help your city, to help your family. And there's just no reason not to have the schools open. The virtual classes are a joke. It is worse than a joke. Poor people don't have iPads, they don't have Wi-Fi, they don't have somebody at home to sit during the day and force the child to pay attention. And without that, the virtual learning just does not exist. And the teachers' unions you see in Chicago and in New York, we've had problems. It's time for Joe Biden to stand up and say, the kids are the most important things. Important players here. And the teachers just are going to have to suck it up and stand up and provide an education. Otherwise, these kids have no chance whatsoever, Stephanie. It is a disaster what's happening to them.
Okay. All right. First of all, asshole, if the school's already bad, it's your fucking fault you were mayor in New York for how many terms?
Yeah.
So, like, if poor kid, like he said, these poor kids, they're already getting a bad education. It's your fault. It's your fault. Like,
yeah, what did you do to improve the education system?
I can't believe the nerve of this man. I understood why Hillary Clinton invited him into the good graces of the Democratic Party. He was just a Republican asshole, and it's
so
really
bad.
awful, really
That's
awful.
the big switcheroo. The Democrats are now the Republicans. That's why you saw Republicans, speaking at the Democratic National Convention.
Yeah,
It's like that's
yeah.
the switcheroo, and so many people aren't even aware of it.
Good, and yes, and good point. I forgot about that. He took the schools away from the traditional school administration, the Board of Ed. Yeah, it turned into the Department of Ed. I'm not. Who's a good ed person? Got to have someone on to talk about that.
Kenzo Shibata.
Okay, let's bring him on to talk about that. He is vile. I mean, honestly, like him saying kids are the most important things, most important players. Like he does not know
Like
how
he
to talk
doesn't know
about
how to
people.
talk. I
It's so
know.
funny, and he like catches himself saying things. He's like, "Whoops, let's not call them things. Most important players." And they're such I mean, I'm just waiting for him to call them losers or something because, it's such a lost cause according to him. These schools suck. So why that's the thing. Why send them there if they're so screwed?
Yeah, if they're so bad, like,
at least
why
let them not die of COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
they're not gonna get a good education. It's such a racist thing that he's saying, right? Because clearly what he's saying is like these poor kids who we know from Joe Biden means what? Non-white kids. These poor kids, they don't have the home support.
Yeah.
So we got to send them into schools. How about he goes first? How about he works as a lunch lady at one of these schools?
All right, we got a couple of super chats. One from Billy Beans, our creative writer in the super chat. 2020 reality TV ideas. Don Jr. and Eric host a fly fishing contest. Hunter Biden and Guy Fieri drive across USA in a convertible. Barron Trump and Ella Emhoff get engaged and buy a place in Soho. I watched that one, actually. Marjorie Green on Pawn Stars. Joseph Oppengort says, Katie and crew, please give a shout out to the water protectors on the front lines in northern Minnesota this weekend. Negative 20 lows, Biden, hashtag stop line 3, hashtag stop line 3. So check out hashtag stop line 3 for the water protectors. If they're asking for any mutual aid, you should be able to find it under there on Twitter on that hashtag.
Yeah, I want to highlight that chat.
Wasn't one of the reasons that they were wanting the kids to go back to school is that a lot of kids didn't get a decent meal except when they went to school? I mean, and this is what Joe Biden wants to return to, the normalcy. That's not normal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not kind. That's not, that's not even supporting the people who voted for you.
Yeah, my partner is a teacher, and they're working so hard and getting no support for they really expected Biden to be able to come in and say, all right, this is going to be the plan. We're not going back until it's actually safe. And they haven't done anything, haven't given any guidance. So I actually have a video queued up.
Oh, great.
That actually kind of went viral to show what teachers and administrators are putting up with. Do want to read a super chat from Quantum Event, though, that Bloomberg looks like a raisin with child porn on his computer. Kevin, on a similar vein, Bloomberg would probably love to be a lunch lady, telling poor kids they can't have lunch if they can't pay for it. Yeah, he would be
yeah, that's true. In fact, we should, Jack, your friend Jack, your co-host Jack, did wonderful work finding amazing, and here it is, Bloomberg looks like a raisin with CP is child, okay, CP with child porn on his computer, yeah. Jack, we got to find those videos, because Jack did amazing work finding them, yeah. What does this mean? How long can I expect the wait to be on your content to be released on vinyl? Oh,
I think that's for Lady Bunny.
I haven't done that yet. I'm not even on Spotify. Yeah, Lady Bunny. Let him know.
My content?
Your music on the vinyl.
I have a single out right now called Joy and Happiness.
Yeah,
Lady
in fact,
Bunny.
I tried to. One sec. Let me just. Kevin G. Bloomberg would probably love to be a lunch lady telling poor kids they can't have lunch, they can't pay for it. And Phantom Esfanto. Virgil just did Westworld clone switch. Where is the Maria? I tried to go to play Bunny's video, but I just see like a it just shows me a play button. Let me see. Is there a link to it? I know you sent me the drive, right?
I think it was
see
just
I see
audio.
Yeah, I see it. Now I got
yeah,
it.
yeah. Don't
Okay,
make me watch the.
It's just audio. So all right, you're either in luck or not. Okay, 1 second. I can't believe he called the kids players, and I can't believe he's like, it's such bad schools in the first place.
Yeah, and we can
Fake
watch
accent.
the Screaming Dad after we see Lady Bunny.
Oh wait,
Or
I didn't
listen
mean to
to later.
play. Hold on, I don't want to show that. Can I play it without showing it?
I don't know. I just know how to send it.
All right,
I think
let
you
me
have
play.
to. I think you have to show that. Yeah. to play it.
Okay. Let me at least. All right, that looks a little better.
On iTunes.
Wait, is it on iTunes? Hold on. Okay, wait, hold on. Ooh,
I
what's
actually
this?
wanted to see
That's
the
the
video.
podcast.
That's a new podcast, Ebony and Irony, Jane
Ooh,
County.
I love that graphic.
Yeah, it's a really
Oh,
good
that looks
one.
great.
It's
That looks
great.
great.
Another podcast is called Ebony and Irony in England, but
Oh,
we don't have to
really?
worry about that in another country. So
Lady
Yeah,
Bunny
yeah.
and Monet Exchange gives their review on Bridgerton. I gotta watch that and discuss some of President Biden's cabinet picks, including the nomination of Rachel Levine. Then they Jane County to talk up typo.
Oh, I know.
I trust me, I'm the queen of typos. So then they, I guess, talk about her career experience at Stonewall, a portrait of Bunny she painted. Ooh, and new music. We want to see that portrait. All right, now here's Bunny's song, Joy and Happiness. Can you hear it?
Yes.
I can. I hope I said the right name. There we go. Yeah. Don't you lose your passion. Don't you let it happen. 'Cause when you look deep within, then you know you can win. Don't you lose your passion. Don't you let them dim your shine. You can leave that shit behind. Turn your back on them all, and you keep standing tall. I've got to keep clapping my hands, stomping my feet, shaking my body to the beat. Clapping my hands, stomping my feet. I'm bringing joy. That is the beautiful Victoria Wilson James standing back up vocal. Joy, happiness, oh yes. Thank you for playing it. Arrange your head. Replace the blues with sunshine instead. When you try, we heard it. We heard it before. On the path to peace of mind.
Is there a video for it?
Don't lose
Not
your
yet.
passion.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I was
fine.
putting a little sign up to tune.
I'm gonna
That's what
send it
do
to you,
when
honey.
You're in a club.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
And you wrote the lyrics to that?
Co-wrote it with Victoria
Nice.
Wilson James.
Awesome. I wish, Lady Bunny's a really amazing performer, by the way.
Yeah.
No, really, yeah.
Yes.
Great
absolutely.
stance. You have a great stance.
My
Your
partner
your
is
legs are like, I don't know, yeah.
My partner is so jealous because they're such a big fan. They're so happy I got
They
to
can
talk
come
to
on,
you.
say hi.
Yeah.
Wave.
But they're working as a teacher. They're like super busy,
yeah.
like all late hours getting these lessons for these kids to do this distance learning. Super chat. Halper gets better by the day, but she makes me want to eat whipped cream. Yay,
If I had
Lady
a penny
Bunny.
for every person who said that to me, I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means, but I love whipped cream. I can't eat it because I realized that the serving sizes I thought I was eating were like
Oh no.
I would put some in my. I thought it was like 5 calories the amount I was putting in, but it turns out they're like 1,000 servings per whipped cream thing. Do you want to play the video, by the way?
Oh yeah,
Leslie?
yeah. So this.
But
just
that's
to
great.
set-
So that's called Joy and Happiness.
Yes,
Joy and
out
Happiness.
now.
Oh yeah.
Put me in a good mood.
Yeah, everyone check that out. That's on Spotify. Everywhere you can find iTunes, you can find music. Please support Lady Bunny with their wonderful music. Thank you so much.
Doesn't Leslie have to? You have to get Leslie to like do some vocals for you.
Unfortunately, I cannot
soloist.
sing.
Oh,
I
you can't
cannot
All right.
sing at all.
But you can speak. Yeah.
Me either. Never stopped me. What is the reason that the Bloombergs and the Joe Bidens want to go back, and the Trump want to go back to school before it's ready? This is not my
That's a good
area
question.
of
Yeah, I don't
expertise.
know what that. Does anyone know the answer?
I mean,
I assume it's because they don't want to socialize the cost of childcare, because if the children are home, all right, well the parents can't be at work, and they want to make people go back to work.
Yeah.
So if the children, okay.
Yeah.
And there also is like you were talking about, Leslie. There are these suburban maniacs who are just sick of being around their kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to the school board meetings and they're saying, well, COVID's fake.
Well,
get my freaking kids in school.
Right, but I mean, on some level, they don't want to endanger their kids, or maybe they don't think that it is a danger. But maybe it's just more of a danger for the teachers, right? And
I think some people.
I think if this video would be highly illuminating about where their actual mindset is and what they actually care about.
Okay.
All right.
How do I play it? Can you play it, Leslie?
I'll play it.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So it just says up. This is in Loudoun County, highest per capita income in the nation. That doesn't mean I'm rich. That just means I pay way too much in rent.
Right.
But this guy, as you can already tell from his very nice coat, is someone with a bit of money. This is where all the defense contractors live.
Brandon Michon? You should all be fired from your day jobs, because if your employers knew that you were more inefficient than the DMV, you would be replaced in a heartbeat.
DMV is very
just
popular.
finished a conference call because I'm having to multitask to be here to address you guys. You're a bunch of cowards hiding behind our children as an excuse for keeping schools closed. You think you're some sort of martyrs because of the decisions you're making, when the statistics do not lie that the vast majority of the population is not at risk from this virus. The garbage workers who pick up my freaking trash risk their lives every day more than anyone in this school system. Figure it out or get off the podium, because you know what? There are people like me and a lot of other people out there who will gladly take your seat and figure it out.
This went mini viral.
He loves
freaking bar.
He loves his kids, right?
Yeah. I am tired of spending time with Braden and Jaden.
And Caden.
I don't want to play Minecraft.
And Chasten.
Yeah, what the hell? Also, I love the way he said it, like his contempt for garbage people. I mean, for sanitation workers. Did he say garbage? What did he call them? He might as well have, right?
Yeah,
but his contempt for them is like, or no, maybe it's like they're risking their lives. Why aren't you
he's saying
teachers?
even these
Yeah,
inferior people,
Right,
these
yeah.
manual laborers are
Right.
risking their lives. So why can't you, people that, teachers who are read as a more
Moral.
upper middle class
Yeah.
profession, even though that's certainly not the case in most of the country in terms of how much they make and the benefits that they get.
Right.
What are you too good to go back to work and endanger your lives too, and our kids as well? I mean, we live in a society of convenience, right? It's like Jill Biafra said, "Give me convenience or give me death," and I think that's the source of a lot of this derangement among white upper middle class, suburban people, among the gentrifier types, where they cannot accept mentally the idea of, in America, in this society that they've been taught is the richest, most powerful society in the history of humanity, that they might have to be inconvenienced at some point, have to wear a mask to go into the supermarket, or their school, might be closed down. And the way that a lot of these people resolve that conflict in their mind is just say, well, COVID's made up. No, it's fake. It doesn't impact kids. So, just get the kids together. And of course, these are people who do not, give a shit about the safety and the labor rights of teachers, because they don't give a shit about the safety and labor rights of anyone else.
Right. But I guess I am surprised that someone like him would not think that his kids were at risk. I think
kids aren't dying from it.
No, right. They're carriers of it, right?
But they
So
are
yeah,
carriers,
you're
yeah,
right.
that's
So,
true.
but I'm surprised that I guess it is. It's like he thinks he's healthy, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't have any pre-existing conditions or any anything that would make him immune. So why does he care? Yeah, that's also a very scary thing that I've heard people say.
Well, I mean, you remember all these stories of people, like Republican legislators and people like that who just straight up denied it and said COVID's it's a freaking
Right.
plot by the UN or whatever, and just died. Just straight
Right.
died.
Yeah.
Or they got hospitalized, they get very sick, and they were in the ICU for a long ass time, and they said, oh fuck, I was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Because they genuinely don't believe it.
It's like I don't know, but this guy strikes me as not someone who doesn't believe in COVID, but more like someone who thinks that, like you were saying, his kids won't get sick or die, and he's healthy, so who cares?
Well, it's more bad things happen to other people, and as well, and as well. I mean, there have been, since the beginning of this, a lot of people downplaying the risks that we're all in.
Yeah.
And saying, well, if you're under 40,
Right.
you got nothing to worry about. You should go back to work. I remember there was an article in the Federalist a while ago that just made this exact point. Here's what we got to do: just force everyone under 40, to go to work.
Right.
Something like that. And it's like people 40 are dying too. They're not dying at the rates that people
Sure.
over 70 are dying. But I'm under 40. I sure as shit don't want to get COVID,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if I'm at a lower risk.
Right.
Well,
because I vape, and vaping kills the disease. It's a fact.
I mean, I don't agree with the guy. I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't know all the arguments for school, but he did look like he was kind of nutting up a little bit. So, I mean, stuck with your brats can drive you crazy. I mean,
Right.
the walls are shrinking, we're not seeing people. So that's not where I would go with it. But if you're freaking out at a,
Right.
podium, you might have been driven wild by the brats who you created,
Yeah.
I mean,
your demon spawn. Yeah.
A lot of it is the teachers work for me.
Yeah,
you,
it is.
You or my tax dollars pay your fucking salary. You better go back to work, even if it puts you at personal risk. And they're not thinking about the fact that it's putting their kids and themselves at personal risk, because they've already kind of compartmentalized that by believing that, well, even if we got it, it wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. I know. Someone told me that the other day. It's like, it's okay. If you get it, you'll just have a flu. Which, is probable.
A lot of people believe
but
that.
I could also die. I mean, I could die.
Young, healthy people die of COVID every freaking day.
Yeah, it's really.
But I mean, don't discount the let me talk to the manager of schools impulse going on here, driving a lot of this.
Yoandri Dominguez Garcia. I have children. I don't want them.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you. Man.
I'm with you, and I don't have
I'm with
kids.
you. There in many states you can drop your children off at
Yeah.
fire stations, and the firemen will raise the children.
Sean Cahill has a super chat question for Bunny. Does Bunny have any observations on how support divided up within the community during the primaries? Got easy to predict Pete supporters. Heart.
Michael Stipe.
yeah, well, I mean, look, I understand thinking a gay man is running for president, but I actually did a club gig in Iowa. And the club owner picked me up at the airport. This is obviously a year and a half ago.
A week ago. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're also not a believer. I'm just kidding.
That's right. And so, I didn't even ask about politics, but he volunteered that he was a socialist. And I said, well, then who are you voting for? And he said, either Biden or Pete. And I said, oh, so you chose the least socialist besides, Amy Klobuchar. And, he went on to talk about how he liked Biden and thought he was a nice guy. And then he liked Pete because he had some hot times in the barracks that his military friend took him to. And they got down with some, like straight guys. And I'm like, this is the dumbest way to choose. I mean, use your vote, but I mean, come on. It's like you with all the free porn, you're literally going to vote for the presidential candidate who you can whack off over. I mean, that's just so
Also,
crazy. They blared, oh, he attended a Stop Sanders, meeting with Pelosi and other, Democratic leaders. I'm like, so I don't support Sanders because he's from Vermont or Jewish or in my age group. That's not why I support him, because of Medicare for all. And that's what the Democratic Party on the pages of the New York Times are letting me know that they oppose. That is just rotten, and I mean, yeah, it's people have got to kind of figure out what would be best for them. But like I said, they're not getting it from the mainstream media.
Yeah.
They're just seeing that the Bernie people that want the Medicare for all are bad, are mean or sexist or
right, because they're more online. Like that's all it is they're more.
Or they
online.
wear mittens.
Yeah, those mittens of
sexist mittens,
of
the white supremacist mittens of the San Francisco. Because she starts it. I didn't want to pay for the paywall to read the article about Bernie Sanders, but doesn't she start it by saying Bernie Sanders is not a white supremacist, but I think that's like my line. So it's like I thought people of color also wanted health care, and that was one of the reasons that they were suffering from COVID, like they are disproportionately, because there's not a lot of health care there even after Obamacare. So,
Yeah. It's we did a deep dive, my friend Kate Levin and I, and I'm gonna release a little clip of it. But we read that terrible article by Ingrid Sayer Oki. It's just like, there is a thing, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it, which is that there is some people don't have some issues worked out, and they work them out through Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Politics in general, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
not
don't,
me.
I mean, obviously I love him, but like, how do people hate him? He's such a mensch.
Most people don't use that. Most people don't
crotchety
use that term,
mensch.
Katie.
Yeah, I know they don't, but
that's
it is.
part of why.
No, but look, he has major, like, what the Latinx vote and is there an Arabex term? And the Arab American vote and the Muslim American vote.
And the LGBT vote.
Yeah. All Bernie, but you'd never know that. He was the first person to be introduced at a rally by a trans person. Yeah. And he obviously, it was like Burlington was considered this like gay mecca. He's just, I don't know. And I know it's like the left are always like, oh, it's not about individuals. It's about structure and power and the masses and the movement. But it's like, yeah, okay. But history works around individuals a lot, for better or for worse. So we don't really have time to reinvent the wheel. Sorry.
If memory serves, in Burlington in the early 1980s as mayor, he signed the first Pride Proclamation.
Yeah. Yeah, Pride was a very big. It was a big festive thing there before it was in other.
Yeah, that was
cities.
him.
Yeah.
I watched the Young Turks years ago, and Chink said something that resonated with me when he said that, you know what, the banks and defense and all of the worst industries can make themselves seem more liberal than they are by embracing gay rights and pronouns and trans stuff. So so when it comes to defense, or when it comes to oil, or when it comes to crashing the economy, they're not, they're still the same old, but they can freshen up their image by using my community, which is, we got to learn to see through it. I mean, here in New York, the last Gay Pride 2 years ago, they actually had something called Reclaim Pride with no corporate sponsors. Got 45,000 people on Central Park, with Larry Kramer and sex work activists and performance. I mean, it was amazing to see people want to break away from that pink washing, because it is so empty.
Yeah, do you know Dean Spade? Do you know Dean Spade? He's really great. He's he founded the Sylvia Rivera Law Project. He's a law professor at Seattle, and does a lot of stuff about pinkwashing and Raytheon, and how we shouldn't be celebrating that Raytheon has women and LGBTQ people in powerful positions. And also Israel, because Israel does a lot of pink washing, of course.
Yep.
But yeah, it's disgusting, and yeah, and I don't know. Like, I had slight hopes. I had a slight expectation. Like, I thought Biden was and is the worst. He sucks. But I thought that maybe because, like, he wasn't black and he wasn't a novelty and he wasn't youthful like Obama was, right? Obama was all of those things. And a lot of effort was put into defending Obama from racist attacks. And I was like, okay, well, Biden won't have that, right? Because he's a straight old white man. And I thought I was somewhat optimistic, just like Biden's optimistic about biracial commercials, which, by the way, I don't know if you all heard that during the leaked tape where he was talking to black civil rights leaders.
Oh, yes.
He's like, I'm extremely optimistic because 15 years ago, you never would have thought that 4 to 7 out of 15 commercials would be biracial. Like, you're such a lot. Like, his lying has such specificity. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? What study shows that it's for? Anyway, but what I was optimistic about, besides biracial commercials, was that we were coming off of Bernie Sanders challenging Biden. So, like, when Obama won, it's not like he had been challenging someone to his left, right? He was, like, basically the same, but maybe a teeny bit to the left of Hillary Clinton. So I thought maybe there'd be an expectation gap, but there isn't. Like, or there is, but it doesn't have any impact.
Yes, because Trump. Because any criticism of him is met with, would you rather have Trump?
Yeah.
And it's like, how are you setting the bar that low?
Yeah, so what can we do about it? Not to sound too grandiose, but what can be done about it?
Well, I saw we got to speak out to pinpoint the problem, and we're going to get smacked down a lot, in the mainstream media. But I was waiting in line today, and I saw a lady with a cute tote bag that had all these, like, life hacks. And one of them was be solutions oriented. And I thought, we do rant and rave because we want to get our message across, but at the same time, we have to find a way to be appealing. We have to sell people on Medicare for all and the kind of politicians who want, student. I mean, this is why the whole thing with the force the vote and the squad, left me feeling politically homeless, because they were the ones that ran on that and won on it. So who are indeed the next generation of Bernie Sanders who stick to their principles? Honestly, Bernie didn't say anything about force the vote, and you could say he was busy with other stuff too. But are we just look? Even Joe Manchin, who said no to the $2,000 payments. They jumped out and they put up billboards and they shamed him. Why aren't we shaming Joe Biden? I mean, are we less involved? No slight to West Virginia. Are we less involved than the people of West Virginia?
I guess so. And by the way, and then Virgil, I want to hear your take, but DJ Jonati writes, Lady Bunny, you're the best. Drag husband here. If you're ever booked in Denver, hang with us at the Charlie's house. We'll shroom.
I would love that.
Yeah, if that has to be, we're socialists, so I assume that invitation extends to all of us.
Yeah, I would also like to do shrooms at Charlie's house.
Exactly,
if at all possible.
Yeah. And what do you think about, Virgil, about what is to be done, as our good friend Vladimir asked?
Right now, I mean, I think there's an essential need for more organization. I mean, there's really no magic bullet here. There's not going to be a shortcut, as we talked about on a panel recently on Bad Faith with Bhaskar Sankara and David Dualde, Sean KB. I think it's a matter of, we just spoke with Grace Blakely about this, and she said, I'm going to mangle this. She said 3 preconditions for what would be effective organizing. And crap, am I going to get all 3 right now? You want me to try?
Yeah.
You want me to try this article that I'm like half remembering in my brain fog. Just like some of the content that I just consume that destroys my brain every day. Okay, I remember one of them was disrupting the accumulation of capital. Oh, okay. All right.
Disrupting the accumulation of capital.
Disrupting the accumulation of capital.
Okay.
Okay. Like, duh. Yeah. Okay. The third one was making people aware of their own power.
Okay, I'm writing this down. Disrupting the accumulation.
She already wrote it down. We could just look up the article.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it Jacobin? Okay.
And that was the third one was making people realize their own power. And I forget the middle one.
What? So, if you were speaking to someone who didn't even know socialist or capitalist terms, what would be the Cliff Notes version of disrupting the capital? What would that? How would that be appealing to them? Because they're going to be calling you the far left when that's not even the case. And there's going to be what put that into practice.
Well, first I have to warn you. I'm not. I'm not an organizer because I find it impossible to talk to other human beings. But I I know organizers who are incredibly good. I've watched them work, and it's a bit of salesmanship,
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to meet people where they are and speak to the material conditions in which they live. Because your pitch to a truck driver, where there are very specific conditions of that type of work, is going to be different than your pitch to freelance graphic designer, your pitch to a grad student worker at a college who doesn't get benefits, and it's a matter of reiterating the idea that we have a deeply imbalanced society. There's a small number of individuals who have all of the power, they have all of the wealth, and that they do not have to work for a living, unlike the vast majority of people. And to, in Marxist terms, heighten that contradiction, increase that tension. To, this is what Bernie was talking about. It's us versus them. It's us versus. This is what the message from Occupy was. It's us versus the 1%. We can quibble over the number, but that's not the point of it. The point is making people understand why things are the way they are, why they're in this position, why this is the material reality, and making people realize that they have the power to change that reality. And if we don't believe that we have that power, then all of this political shit is futile, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And this is our money they're talking about in the stimulus, and people just don't seem to have a grip on that.
Yeah, well, that's a big reason why the guys like Joe Manchin, they don't want to do this, and all Republicans, they don't want to do this because they don't want people to know that, hey, their politicians might do something for them. They don't want people to know that politicians are actually capable of giving you a check in the mail. If they realize, this is how we can actually pressure politicians, we can get money. We get money, the thing we need to survive in the damn society. What else can we get?
It worked in West Virginia.
Well, it is almost heaven over there.
Yeah, super chat from Vashon says, East Coast media bubble reports always leave out the Christian extremists makeup of many anti-mask, anti-vaccination movements that are found out west. I can see it. There's certainly lots of overlap here in Virginia, and I've seen stuff in Louisiana where it's like there is such a thing as the Christian right. I think people forgot because Trump is our first openly atheist president.
He's an extremely strong Christian, Leslie, and that's why the IRA targeted him.
Yeah, absolutely no one believes Donald Trump gives a shit about religion whatsoever, but he still was their guy because he was doing what they wanted to do and combating Magog or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Biden was meeting with far-right Christian extremists today.
Yeah.
And saying that we need the solution to everything that we face is faith. I don't want to
Yes.
What it was saying, but you know what? Those people that follow the fundamentalist religion, I have an aunt who my mother shocked me, and she said that she was going to vote for Bernie, and she's been a Republican for North Carolina her whole life. And so I said, I'm going down there to visit them, but I'm not talking politics at that rifle in the back of the pickup truck gang. And so I called her, Aunt Carolyn, and I said, Mom says you're interested in Bernie. She said, yeah, we thought he was real honest. But then he was out, so we voted for Trump. No shame. So I said, so this was right around the pussy grabbing incident. I said, well, how does the pussy grabbing jive with your religious views? And she said, well, we like Mike Pence, and changed the subject. So you see, anything that the charismatic, you've seen the video of the people praying around Trump, the rabbis, the priests, like hovering around him, whatever. That's all they need. They need words from those charismatic preachers in the mega churches, and they're sold. I mean, you see those videos from those people all the time begging. It was a really well known who was begging them to not let Joe Biden win. I mean, it's so people can check out and not think and just blame God and divorce themselves from the process. Virgil, as you were saying, they need to not do and to be engaged in the process and hold people accountable.
I feel like people do blame. I mean, I feel like people constantly put the mask stuff on the Christian right, on like fundamentalists. I guess my problem is that we do so much, dismissing of them as a a basket of deplorables. And I think that like the fact that your aunt, you were saying. Like the fact that someone would be for Sanders and then for Trump, people love using that as evidence of Sanders' misogyny and racism. It's like, no, that made him competitive.
Yeah.
Like, that made him effective. Yeah. And you speak to people and you tell them either you're angry, you should be angry, blame Muslims and Mexicans, or you say you're angry, you should be angry, blame corporate greed. Those things are like diametrically opposed.
Right. Right. And so when my aunt said she liked Pence and changed the subject, I said, oh, no, Aunt Carolyn, the gays don't like Mike Pence because he supports, conversion therapy. Right. And then we went on to other topics. And at the end of the conversation, she said, what was the name of that therapy that Mike Pence, she had no idea about it. Right. And here, her niece or whatever, nephew or whatever you want to go, got on there and actually just like challenged her in a polite, loving way. And there is good to be had from talking to the other side and not saying that they are deplorables or hopeless or pathetic or stupid, or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, like Virgil said, we have to say that their economic situation is riding on this, and if I'm just dumbfounded that more people don't.
Yeah, and it's true. It's like the reconciliation and reaching across the aisle is with other powerful people. Like that's not the reconciliation we need. We need to reach out to people who can be actually brought over to the other side and have overlapping interests, not the prayer breakfasts.
No, exactly. He wants to unite with them.
Yeah,
and he wants to unite with Mitch McConnell. He's not meeting 10 progressive senators with Ilhan Omar that said that they wanted recurring payments, even though they didn't say the amount. He's not meeting with them unless I'm, unaware of it. But he's quick to jump with the, Republicans have the it's just, it's a switcheroo. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And he's not meeting with like the, the non-powerful people who could be brought over from the right? Like there's never any overtures to them in any meaningful way. Yeah.
Well, this is what Jimmy Dore is criticized for doing. And, the day after they criticized him for having interviewing a Boogaloo boy, Jimmy put up a video that said where he interviewed a guy who did TED Talks because he was a black guy who befriended people in the Klan and actually got the Grand Wizard of wherever to lay down his, cape. So, his drag or whatever, his cloak or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
right. I mean, is the Klan a form of drag? That may be controversial.
It's a kind that I have not tried, and then the next night is that the next night Jimmy had some 96-year-old Black Panther on there saying, that she went to Republicans and said, I know you hate us and we hate you, but we want to check and the government has it. Let's go get it and at least put our differences aside for that. So yeah, I think the economic issues and the culture war is where the Democrats are going to lose.
Yep. Well, because they don't want to win, because they'd have to actually prioritize the economic issues, which, as Thomas Frank writes in Listen Liberal in a very, I think, concise, accessible, convincing way, Dems love pretending that they like can't do things, but it's that they don't want to do them.
Well, Dems who are close to Republicans don't mind doing things the Republican way.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's most of the party, sadly.
It is. So, speaking of switcheroos, my wig is starting to tell me that the blood supply, and I don't want to repeat myself too much. So I do want to say good night and good
thank
to
you.
meet you
This
all.
was so great. Yeah, come back. Will you come
Virgil
back
walked
for
out on me.
No, he has to come back. I think he has a
He'll be
buzzer.
right back.
He'll never leave you. But
Thank you so
come
much.
back.
It's been such
Please
a
come
pleasure.
back. Yeah.
Thank you. Same
Yes.
here. Thanks for
And
having me.
Thank you for coming on.
All right.
All right. Bye. Wow, legend. We just had a legend on.
Yes,
Sam.
legend, the shadiest
Legend.
queen in New York. Didn't seem so shady
No,
to
not
me.
shady at all. Yeah.
You
yeah.
can find Lady Bunny everywhere. Her new podcast is on iTunes. Her new single is out. You heard it here, so please support Lady Bunny.
Oh my God, it's Lady Bunny gone.
Yeah, she
What
had
did
to
I
go.
say?
She gave you her
Nothing,
best.
it's
She
not
sent her
personal.
best. She
She
sent
did
her
send your
best.
best. She felt
Oh.
abandoned by you. She felt forsaken
I
by
had
you.
to. I had to take a leak.
Yeah, I gotta do one. I have to do that soon, actually, too.
I would love to have her on. Our
Yeah,
show
you guys should. Yeah.
Bree has wanted to have her on for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Real talk, guys. Shh. Girl talk. We gotta figure this out because we keep having overlapping guests, so we have to have.
Yeah,
like
what are
a
you? What are you
communal
doing? What are you doing,
schedule.
Katie? You can't generate your own ideas.
I had on. Did not know you were having Corey Robin on. I had on Kshama before you guys had Kshama. Who else? Bring it. Who else?
Wait,
did we
so you're
overlap
saying
with?
you had Corey Robin on after we had Corey Robin? Interesting.
Yeah, but I
after
already
and then you had Noam
booked him.
Chomsky on after we had Noam Chomsky on. Interesting.
Yeah, but I had already booked them both.
We actually booked them before you booked them.
Well, you don't know when I book them, but Kshama was on first. Who else did I have before you guys? Oh, I had Glenn and Zephyr. I had Zephyr on. I think you guys were inspired by the Zephyr.
Glenn and Zephyr.
By the Zephyr on censorship.
We had
yeah.
Glenn Greenwald on literally our first episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, but I still own him. He's mine because I had mine
you
years
don't own.
before.
Okay, well let's get Glenn in here. Let's call him
Multiple
up.
times, and
No,
he
call-
talked
call
about my
Glenn.
dog,
Yeah,
and he
call
said
it-
my
no,
dog.
call
He
it
could
Glenn.
tell. He could tell how spoiled he was.
Oh, Bree. Here's Bree. Oh, yeah. Bree's coming.
misgendered-
Bree's
he
gonna come with
misgendered-
receipts.
He
Oh,
misgendered
you picked the
Bodhi.
wrong fight.
Wait, when
Katie.
had you? Oh, you already booked them. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
we
again,
are-
you don't
you're
know when I
coming-
booked them.
You got receipts, Katie. You're coming.
Look, some of us come in good faith, and some of us come in
Oh,
bad
you are
faith.
you are dealing.
Sometimes the
You
people
are
in bad
dealing
faith
with a
wear it on their
Harvard.
sleeves.
You are speaking to a Harvard law graduate. Right?
Where did you go to school, by the way?
Where did I go to school? Take a wild guess.
NYU.
Really? Do I give off an?
I don't know. I what's the thing I'm supposed to guess? Harvard, Yale,
Wait,
Princeton.
Actually, I don't know. Actually, I just realized
Skidmore.
that. I just realized that made no sense.
Yeah. I was like, oh, Virgil. You know Virgil. He's a skull and bones through and through.
Well, you know, okay, you grew up here in Manhattan.
Oh, I know where you went to school. I know where you went to school. Cornell.
Is that right? That's why I was
you go.
saying, because you've got this kind of Whit Stillman sense for where people
No,
went to
the
college
only
in
reason
New
I
York.
know that is because I know people who went to school with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've all sat
Oh,
together and broken bread together. Yeah. My grandfather went there, I believe. I think, yeah. You know where I went to school? You should be able to. I make fun of the types of people who go to this school.
Yeah. Phantomus Fanto said that this is a different Virgil again. He's at the park. The real Virgil is at the park.
I went in the transporter and a different guy came out. And the last guy died. Last guy died. And I just have all his memories. Okay, where did Katie Howell go to school?
I know what you mean. This one.
I got
It's very. I'm gonna say.
It's not Barnard. Not Barnard.
No.
Okay, right.
I grew up in New York City, but I went abroad. I mean, I went to another state to college.
Went to another state. Oh,
PCU. PC. No, but that's close. It is the basis of PCU.
I don't know. I don't know all of those hyper PC colleges.
It's a movie.
I know the film PCU.
Okay, it's based on
Wesleyan. Okay.
Yeah, not to be confused with Wellesley. Yeah.
Yeah, not Wellesley. Wesleyan. Yeah, got it.
What's the MTG debate? Someone wrote
Magic the Gathering, Katie.
Yeah.
There's a huge debate about whether they're gonna bring back the Angel of Mercy. If they're gonna, I'm joking, of course. In the turn, I'm joking. Magic the Gathering is a card game. MTG is, I think, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, dumb! I'm so dumb because you know who I thought it was the man. Oh no, that doesn't make any sense. MGMT went to Wesleyan management.
Oh.
They changed. That was like, oh my god, yeah.
Pretty good band. Pretty good
Yeah,
band.
they are, right. Dun, 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 dun. I can't believe Brie came in. She wouldn't come on the show. I mean, she comes on the show all the time, but she did come and bring in the
to come on the show. She wants
We're
to
gonna have to come on. We're gonna have to share our emails.
She wants to give me a little space right now.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do my
Marjorie
own
Taylor
thing.
Greene, what a joke. Yeah, what's going on with her? I mean,
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure you can look up all the crazy things she said. Did you know that all
Feel a
of
hot
this
take
was
coming.
out before she was elected? Did you know that there's a thing called an election that Democrats can run in, and the Democrat who was running against her dropped out, so she ran unopposed, dropped out because he was getting a divorce, and moved out of state without understanding that he cannot legally run for election just because his wife kicked him out of the house and moved across state. He didn't understand that, so she ran unopposed.
Hey, can you play the clip I just forwarded you on email, or is that too much of an ask?
yeah, sure.
This is a clip from the latest episode of what's it called, Bad Faith, and I'm about to post this on Twitter after this stream ends. This is a clip from our conversation about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't know what's
Got
actually
it.
in the clip because I think the conversation was longer than what would be like a 2-minute long
Okay,
Twitter clip.
let's
But
see. Let's do it. Hold on.
Exclusive.
I swear to God, Bree. You know, Bree's gonna come on and be like,
Exclusive
no,
preview.
Virgil.
this is the world premiere of this clip from the last episode. of
MTV
Bad Faith.
world premiere.
Okay, because let's see. Where did I have it?
No, just
there
an
it is,
email.
at risk. Okay. Should I play it?
Yep. Play it. Friend of the show, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wait, is the audio good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay.
She's a Republican congressman for Georgia. She's the QAnon congressman. I guess it was reported that she just wrote some fucked up shit on Facebook. Let's see what she said. She said that Jewish weather rays were responsible for California wildfire and some
Wait,
kind of.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay.
Jewish weather rays?
Jewish, Judaism.
I'm familiar.
Run by the Jews.
Not
It's like
necessarily
a
Judaism.
Jewish
We'll talk about it in a
conspiracy to manipulate the weather using some kind of space ray, essentially. I guess the other one was her, liking a Facebook post that was like, we should kill some Democratic members of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
There was something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So that's the
which
gist of this
ones?
person. Like, he's a classic QAnon person. There is something endearing about it to have like a genuine maniac in Congress,
No.
Okay, I'm not defending her. I'm just saying it's it's wacky. It's a situation. She gets paired with Lauren Boebert, who's the gun crazy from Colorado, and they're like, oh, these are both the two maniacs. No, I think Lauren Boebert is full of it. She's part of the conspiracies, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's you can try. She's on the outside.
She's
just
sincerely off, bat.
yeah.
Guano.
Lauren Boebert knows she's operating the lasers for all we know. Like she's in there in the control room too. Like so she's just gonna say the crazy stuff to get the
not a real believer.
suckers to give her campaign donations. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's just in it for the love of the game.
She was vice president of her husband's construction company. And then she took up CrossFit and began to
that's
post
how it
on
starts.
social media.
That's how it starts.
And to publish podcasts.
All right, first off, what vice president of her husband's company? You'll wonder how you got that job. To the CrossFit, that's how it starts, because CrossFit is kind of like a cult. That it's they start screwing with your brain, your sense of reality. Eventually, you need harder stuff after CrossFit's not giving you the rush anymore. You gotta re-QAnon stuff.
That's a top tier podcast. So that's top tier.
That is now this is podcasting.
Yeah.
We just merged.
There was
Yeah,
one
it was
bit.
a merger.
There's one bit that didn't make it in the clip, I guess, and that was also a great job. Thank you to producer Ben who cut like
Ben
a 5-minute
Dalton.
segment.
Shout out to Ben Dalton.
Cut it down to like 2 minutes, so it can be uploaded to Twitter tonight. There's this bit that's where I say, I'm not surprised by any of the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing. It's one of those stories where everyone starts talking about it immediately, and I just think, wait, I already knew that.
Yeah.
I already knew all this crazy shit she did. Have you not been reading the news? And I'm like, okay, well, that's just how information travels. Like, I already knew she believed the QAnon space laser shit. I knew, because I also knew the QAnon space laser theory, because I read that shit in whenever the fires happened, like last year or the year before. I remember reading that very closely.
Yeah, I still don't know enough about Q to be an informed person.
Well, he's this government insider who is giving us information. But he has
about
to
my people's space beams, laser beams.
Well, he has got to get the information through coded messages that you have to interpret. If it decode, it's very
Learn to decode.
It's very it's kind of like the Kabbalah, I think.
I mean, it makes sense.
That's how the Kabbalah. That's how the Kabbalah works.
That's why they're anti-Semites. They're jealous of our.
Yeah, that's because they want to do Kabbalah shit.
They hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah, they're envious. And it's like, hey, I want to argue over an esoteric text with other people all day, like Jews get to do. And frankly, I agree. I'm not Jewish, even though everyone asks me if I am.
Yeah.
When you get off the train and the guy's like,
right.
Are you Jewish? And I just have to say no. I gotta be honest. I don't want to
pass.
I could pass. I mean, I don't know what happens if you say yes. I think they take you to a cabin of some kind. And you get to play board games.
Yeah.
I don't know actually what happens if you say yes. But I'm not Jewish, but I've always been a great admirer of the Jewish people. I have many Jewish friends, Jewish allies, such as Katie Halper, of the Katie Halper show.
Ally,
And I've always kind of thought of myself as I always kind of thought I'd be a good rabbi.
You do have rabbi. You have a rabbi dar, and I consider you a righteous Gentile. I don't know.
Oh
if
my
people
God!
Know what that means,
Oh
but
my
you
God!
are modern day righteous Gentile. So you may not have actually
God.
saved Jews and protected them from Nazis, but I feel like you would have.
Thank you. I would have. I would have put in I would have put in a good word.
Yes, that is such a Jewish response. That is why you are. I don't even want to call you a righteous Gentile. You're just Jewish. I just turned. Let's be real. It's what it is.
Can I say yes to the people when I walk up the train now?
Yeah.
Can I go hang out in the swimming pool trucks that they drive around in Brooklyn?
I mean, I never. And I know, Leslie, you have to leave soon because once we start talking about Jewish identity, you get really uncomfortable. I'm just kidding, but it's funny when people convert because if anyone married me, they would have to deconvert. My parents would be so happy my dad would be so happy if I married someone who was Muslim or Hindu because he just really likes Islam and Hinduism. But if I married someone religious who was Jewish, they would definitely freak out.
Why?
Because we're not religious. It's a very we're not religious.
It's easy to be religious if you're Jewish.
Is it? I don't know. What do you have to do?
The holidays are not asking a lot of you.
You
light a few candles. You have a dinner.
We have a dinner, yeah. I guess because we have such a strong, we have such an established secular Jewish, identity, which is actually more in conflict. I would say our secular Jewish universalist identity, all that, Tikkun Olam, repair the world, whatever, is more compatible with different types of religions. But not Jewish religion. Be like, come on, guys, what are you doing here?
You don't have to be ultra conservative or Orthodox or something.
Basically, Virgil wants my parents to accept him, and he knows that he's more religious than I am, and my parents are.
I want to have a word with your anti-Semitic parents.
Yeah,
I really think I can turn them around there.
My dad did when we were in India. He was every single Hindu temple. He'd be like, oh, I don't know about this. No, I don't know enough about it. We'd be like, what? Tell us about this. He's like, I don't know. And then he'd be like, it was built in 700, and he knew everything. And then we went to we were in Cochin, which has a synagogue, and he was like, he couldn't have cared less. Anyway, let's see, Leslie, I know you have to go. I'm going to stay on for a little. Virgil, stay on if you want. I totally get it if you have to bounce. We could look at some scriptures.
I could stay on for 15 more, something like that. If you want to invite Bree on.
Yeah, I would love to.
And have it. You know what? Hit up Bree.
I will.
You got her number?
Yeah, bad
I
face
need
it
to
up.
play something while I use the ladies' room myself.
Should we like take 5?
I guess, but I don't. What can I play?
What do you want me to
You have
entertain
any
the
more
audience?
clips? Yeah, you want to kibitz? Do you want to kibitz with the audience?
All right, fine. I could try that.
You could play a clip of Struggle Session, maybe.
Yeah,
since you
do it. Set it
already
up. Yeah.
did.
Can you play like songs or something? Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
music videos. Is this you? Is that
No,
okay if
it'll
it's
get
on
us
YouTube?
kicked off.
But even if it's a YouTube video,
All right, I posted in the chat.
Brad or Maria, can one of you play this? And then also, we are having on someone who's been demonetized. In fact, I have to get him a link.
Swans by Islands. Now that is a good choice right there. Wait, so you can't play YouTube music videos in a YouTube live stream?
Don't think so.
Yeah,
because I know you can't do it on like I know you get like hardcore copyright shit for that like on Twitch or something, but that's a different platform.
It's actually the opposite. Twitch will allow you to do it. They just don't let you the VOD. YouTube will cut you off midstream.
Oh, Bree's saying I'm not wasting a full face for 15 minutes. Wednesdays are big work days for me. Thursdays I don't bathe. Bree's giving you shit. Bree does not want to come on with us.
Wow, but for 15 minutes, how does she know how long her thing is?
Well,
her
I said
appearances?
15. I don't know. If Bree
When
comes
did she come on
if
last?
Bree's on,
I'm
I
trying to
could
remember
go.
when
If
she
Bree
came on
comes on, I could go for 30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
she'd have
Bree.
to take a schwitz
Wow.
and put her face on.
That
or
what
anything.
I mean, she probably didn't expect that she would have her text read. But you know what? Look, we're members of the tribe. She needed to remember that, and we have a coded, thing that
Bree might be a little uncomfortable, entering a Jewish space.
A Jewish space.
She might want to, not invade the sanctity of this space.
By the
which
way,
I understand. That's fine. That's fair. That's respectful.
Okay, I did have to. If we could play the.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, let me do that. And then is that it?
Yeah.
All right. How do I?
I think I have it on mine.
Okay.
Oh, I know him.
Oh, good. I like that. The graphic.
Yeah, that's nice.
Is the audio there?
Do you hear it?
No.
I mean, I don't hear it.
Oh, you don't hear it. You don't hear it.
You got to do when you share it. You have to select share audio.
Let me see.
Yeah, Bree, you don't have to come on visual. You can just come on. We just need your voice, unless you are the anti-Semite that we are. I'm sorry. I shouldn't throw that around casually, especially.
No, just do it. Everyone does it, Katie. It's fine. Our team has to start doing that shit.
It's true. It's true. We have to. I read The Color of Water. It's good.
Also, I mean,
here. Let's see.
Also, Bree should come on video.
Yeah.
But okay, fine. Well, we can't see Bree's face. That's okay. That's fine.
All right, Kay, if you can add
that's
it back.
15 minutes. All right, let's see. 1 second. Okay, let me play this at the stream. I need to. Hold on. Can you send me the link, Leslie? And it'll be easier for me to do it that way because I don't know how to do it from your.
Oh, I'm just press play.
Unmute. Wait, try now.
Video game I've been playing the most during quarantine. Do you hear it?
No, send me.
Oh, it's on the chat. It's on the chat. But I'll say goodbye now. But thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Well, I will play it now. Oh, it's with Hold on 1 second. Can you hear it now? Hold on. Let me play it now. I just want you to see that I'm playing it. Hold on. Share screen. Okay. Buyer logic. Actual Jew. Okay. Not that I care, but.
Maybe the video game I've been playing the most during quarantine is Twitter. And it is right now just a video game where no matter what happens, the point of the event is to make the right dialogue option with your post to show which faction that you're most agreeable to.
It's a BioWare game. It's a BioWare game. Is what it is. I want to mark it down here. Twitter ended when Donald Trump left. I didn't want to leave right then because all the conservatives were leaving. But why was everybody on this other than that the president was a shit poster and became the fucking president from shit posting?
There has been a precipitous drop in the quality of the average post since he left. I mean, it's like, in a combat sport, when there's a great champion, the meta gets better because you have to develop the meta to defeat the champion.
All right, sesh.plus, folks. SESH.plus. Have a good one, Katie. Bye, Virgil.
Bye, Leslie. See you next week.
Maybe the video game I've been playing.
Great voice, yeah. So let's see that. I think Bree will come on. Does anyone know if
we'll just do audio? That's fine. Yeah, but that's fine. That's actually a smart move for Bree because we have to paywall Bree like video.
Right, exactly.
But she can phone in like she's in
phoning it in. Yeah, literally. Yeah,
she can literally phone it in.
But is there a way? Does anyone know so you can have like an image instead of just no camera? Because that's so ugly. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I think there is a way to do that. Let's see.
Yeah, there probably is. I don't know.
There probably is, but
I mean, now I have to use the bathroom. Why don't we just both use?
All right,
the
yeah.
bathroom
All right. Well, I'll
play like some hold music or something.
You go. I'll sit here. Then I'll go. Yeah, yeah. Bree is great, but have you tried Gouda? That's funny. I think that I have Bree is ready. All right. Oh, let me send her the link. And guess who else is coming on tonight? Graham Elwood, who has been demonetized. So it's a demonetization party. Hold on. All right. Look at that. That is I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to go on other people's things in no video. Wouldn't that be funny? There is an avatar thing or something you can do. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? All right. Any super chats? By the way, I got it. Thank you so much for the super chats. All right, that's a good question. I'm gonna put that up. Also, someone had a chat that was like meet people where they're at, and I meant to highlight it. No. That's actually a good. Bree, go on camera but wear a lampshade. That is a pretty bold move. I would do that. What about like an Instagram what's it called? An Instagram filter? What other options do we have? That's cute. Nobody is paying her, and she still fights for us. We, the people, nominate Notorious BJG. That is very cute. Let's see. What was the thing I was going to show? Oh, yeah. Virgil, people have a question for you.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to answer that while you
yes.
use the restroom
Facilities. There? Wait, where is it? I screen grabbed. Okay, wait. Here we go. Hold on. Oh my God. I'm adding you to the stream, obviously, Bree. Hello. Oh my God. Guys, please.
We gotta paywall this.
Someone needs to.
Why haven't you broken this out yet on the show?
Oh my God. Speaking of paying her through Patreon, guys, thank you for your support. And if anyone wants to donate to the Patreon, again, just $1 a month, guys. That's all. $12. What can you buy for $12? Not a horse. You cannot buy a horse for $12.
Exactly 4 Big Macs.
4 Big Macs. You know, I don't eat red meat anymore, but I absolutely miss.
What colors do you eat?
Burger King. I eat pig.
Burger
apparently
King's
is
the worst.
I loved it when I was a kid.
Burger King's the worst one.
Onion
Really?
rings
Why?
are delicious.
What are?
Onion rings.
I just like I eat veggie burgers now. I eat poultry. I eat seafood. I eat fish. But I gotta say that when I have a veggie burger, oh my God, are you moving your head intentionally, or is that like, did you just become horse sick and it just becomes a thing? This is amazing. Chopped up onions.
Talking about? First of all, this is just what I look like without makeup on, and I'm getting a little bit offended. I gotta be honest.
Bree has like a real vaudeville side to her that we don't get to see enough. She does, right?
Well, I know that.
Tron Carter race remonetization party. Love you, Katie. Keep it gangster. Yes.
I like the fries at Burger King.
Fries.
People shit on the fries at Burger King, but I actually low-key think they're like some of the best.
No, they're
fries.
great. So do you like McDonald's?
I mean, does anyone like McDonald's, or is it just like a thing that exists?
I think I like the chopped up onions and the pickles, and they're. Oh,
I do crave McDonald's. Don't get me wrong.
But you don't crave Burger King.
I don't. Well, the thing is, I've had a decent Burger King in the past that I can be like, oh, I crave kind of that because their whole deal is like it's flame grilled, right? But I live by a really shitty Burger King.
Oh.
And I like every time I've gone there, I just had the worst Burger King, and it's like just kind of ruined me on the whole thing, you know.
So you're judging. You're a burger.
I'm judging it based on my local Burger King. But if I was like driving, I'm outside the city. I'm like driving somewhere,
right?
stop at a gas station or whatever, get off the interstate, and there's a Burger King there. You know what? Yeah, I'll check it out.
Partake. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a sip.
Well, here's Phantom Responses with stealth ad for BoJack Horseman, Stay Woke, and then the super chat for you, and then I will come right back. And Tron Carter, Remonetization Party, love you, Katie, keep it gangster. Where's the one for? This is the one for Virgil, which is let's make this easy for you, Virgil. Talk about Bezos and what comes next for him. If she's gonna actually take a break, I am gonna actually take a break.
Okay, she's going to take a break. What comes next for Bezos?
I'm gonna.
So this was a news story that I missed. Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh my god! And I'm gonna put you on. I'm gonna put the YouTube while I go to the bathroom. I'm gonna have my phone with me so I can hear it and I don't miss anything. And then
Bree, you're coming in really pixelated. If there's something you can do about your.
Oh, I can switch to landline.
That might. I think you should do that because you're very pixelated for me.
How far away is your stable? You're not very stable. Hey.
Can you get the stable hand to do it? What was great? Oh, it was about Jeff Bezos. Yeah, that was the story that I missed of the news stories that I missed when I was upstate this weekend. Yeah, I guess Jeff Bezos stepped down from Amazon. I don't know why. I guess he just made all the money and was like, well, I'm done. Made all the money, got the high score. GG, everyone. What's next for him? I don't know. Do you want a joke answer? Is that like a prompt for me to like give an amusing answer?